pretty invested in the idea of Natasha with actually either or both of you guys, and now obviously she's with Bruce. What do you guys make of that?
She's a slut. I was gonna say something along that line. It's a complete whore. Trick, man.
What's going on, everyone? It's Nina Infinity. Welcome to my channel on this Sunday night where we're going to be reviewing She-Hulk Attorney of Law episode 1. And we're going to be breaking it down because, my God, what a shit show. If there ever was one. Oh, my God. Jane. I feel like I was dying a little inside. Like every minute that went by, I was like, this can't be. This actually can't be the case. But it was.
It's Jane, like, was it intentional? I think it was intentional. That makes it worse.
I think it was too. And Jane, I gotta say, I did watch your review, at least half of it, with Az heel versus Babyface. Represented on my boobs right here. So Az is here in spirit, you guys. Because I did watch the review and I thought it was great.
Oh, thanks.
And you guys talked about basically a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about tonight.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it needs to be just reiterated, I think, that this show, Marvel, has gone off the rails. Like, I'm fucking speechless, at least right now. Script Doctor, how are you?
I am doing pretty well this weekend. Glad to see everybody here. Hope you're all having a wonderful closeout to the weekend. And yeah, excited to talk about this. It's not a pilot because it doesn't do anything. It's like a prologue to the pilot. The opening act to the thing you came to see, and it didn't do so well.
I wish it was a pilot so that they can be like, nah, like this is canceled. No.
It wouldn't have made it to a series order if this was what they presented. I agree with that. It's like going to it's like going to go see a comic like Bill Burr and the opening act is some SJW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, can you imagine? It's like, oh my God. That's exactly what this is, though, and that's what it was. It's really weird for me because when I watch the show, a part of me is like, it really can't be that bad, you know. Like you just kind of like hoping and praying that it's really not as bad as the promotional material like laid out to be, but it ended up being worse. I feel like it was actually worse in this case, and my neighbor's dog agrees with me. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but.
Well, it's also the fact that this is very incomplete. Because the premise of like any story really is that your main character has their goals, and then something external occurs that allows their goals to change, and in that change it challenges all of their original beliefs so that they become better in the end and they're in a newer place by the end's journey. So when you see stuff in the trailer and when you see stuff in this episode where Jen Walters is pushing against Bruce, I don't see that as anything bad because my writer instinct is telling me, oh, this is all of her flaws. These are the things she has to overcome by the end of the episode or by the end of the series. But because it cuts off so abruptly, after like 28 minutes or whatever, you're like, well, I have no idea what direction the show is actually going in now because I don't know. We spent the bulk of it with him and with her and Bruce is just trying to mentor her, and she's being the obstinate student that doesn't want to listen or take anything seriously. And then on top of that, all the things that he's using to mentor her with, I'm like, if you don't know many single, independent, career-minded women, they know a lot of this stuff already because they've been doing it for years. So you're just kind of like beating a dead horse. It'd be funny if he had to throw out that book he had and was like, we're going to go a brand new tactic here. Like something that would be completely out of her comfort zone. That would have been more interesting.
Yeah, and the thing is with this is that it literally starts out just incredibly on the nose already, like within the first like 2 minutes of the show, with them putting down like the the dude that was in
Her
their
co-counsel, yeah.
The
her
co-counsel.
co-counsel.
Yeah.
And it was like this dude right here, and then they had this chick as the quote unquote supportive friend or
Paralegal.
A paralegal who looks way too old to be a paralegal. Like she got very late, started late in life. But I watched this with subtitles, and the funny thing is that you can't hear it on a normal volume level. He's commenting on her opening statement, which apparently is a closing statement, which we later find out. And he's making good points, like it's too wordy, doesn't make to the point. Like he's making all these valid things that I, as a writer, would do. And then you have the two women just shove him out of the office. And if you were to suggest that she's in a situation where she's not well respected, she would never be able to get away with that. If you really wanted to make her an underdog, she would have to have a dynamite speech in front of multiple, like not just co-counsel, but like the head partners of the firm, or in this case, it's the district attorney's office, the head DA. And the DA would be like, I don't believe it coming from you. I'm going to give it to this guy. Like, that's what you would do if you want to make her feel like an underdog.
That's exactly what you would do. And I'm going to come at this from the kind of the angle of having watched a lot, and I mean a lot of courtroom dramas. In fact, if they're targeting this show to anyone, it would be someone like me, because I love courtroom dramas. I've seen Law and Order. I've seen The Good Wife. I've seen The Good Fight. I've seen, The Wire, even though The Wire wasn't that much.
How about Boston Legal? See Boston Legal?
I haven't seen Boston Legal, but I've seen a lot. I've seen
the
a
original
lot.
Mason and Matlock. Those are also fun. I mean,
Matlock is fun. I've seen a lot of the Matlock ones.
Courts in actuality, but they are fun.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of these different ones, and I think that this could have been a great show. They could have done a very parallel show to kind of like what they were doing with Marvel's Daredevil, because he was a lawyer in his show, and kind of done like a really grounded show about law in that world and what that would mean. And it could be a very serious show. It has a lot of great undertones to it. But the thing is with Marvel now is that they can't make serious content anymore. It all has to be jokey. It has to be like really like just super funny at the expense of like every male character there is. And and all the jokes were just flat after flat. No funny, no laugh. Did you guys laugh once? Jane, did you laugh once?
I cannot remember off the top of my head laughing at anything. I think that they wanted to be intentionally funny. There are things they did that just were dumb and didn't make any sense, and I'm laughing out of confusion and frustration at it. It's like, this doesn't. Why?
But
are
not
you
at the
doing
dialogue. Like,
No,
that
not
was a
with the
funny
dialogue.
joke, good line. Like,
No,
you weren't.
I didn't see any good jokes in this.
Okay.
I saw a lot of terrible jokes at the expense of other people for no reason.
That's what I.
Yeah, I didn't. There was stuff that I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. But see, the last thing that made me laugh, that really made me laugh hard, as if I were a child again, was watching a Be Cool Scooby-Doo episode written by my friend Tom Conkle. And just, he had one of the most brilliant jokes I'd seen in a long time. That was very old back at school. But regardless of that point, there were situations and things that I had to chuckle at, because I know people and women just like that. Like the end, the post-credit scene with Jennifer Walters kind of crying over a drink just to try and get information out of Bruce. I have witnessed that. I have fallen for that many times. Totally understand it. I've seen the turn. I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny. That's good. But there needed to be more coming from that area of mindset with comedy, because it was very character driven.
Right.
The fight between them as cousins. Oh my God, I have witnessed that with my godchildren and myself growing up.
we're gonna get there because we're breaking this one down. But real quick, I want to shout out Low Watermark. Thank you so much for the $50. That is so generous. Saying, glad to see Jane here. Love you with Az. Hell yeah, baby, Az. And always glad for Nina. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Az is amazing, and so is Jane. And so are you.
I bet he smells really nice.
You think Az smells nice?
I bet he does. I suspect he does. Just something
That's such a
something
weird
about
thing
him.
to say.
Well, I mean, I can visually see him. I have spoken with him. I've heard his voice. The one thing I don't have access to is the scent.
I feel like he would smell good because I don't know why, but I would think of like baby powder because it's like as heel versus baby face. So I think of baby
It's like on
powder.
brand.
And it's like, yeah, he's
That
got
was
that
funny.
like fresh baby smell or something. I don't know. That's like I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of.
Like
What,
he
what
definitely
Az
wouldn't
would
smell
smell
like cantaloupe. That's for sure. Like he would be conscious enough to be like, I'm not smelling like cantaloupe. But the ladies would just be revolted by that.
Daniel says, I feel he has really soft skin.
I know, like baby soft skin. That's what I feel like too. Az smells like Yorkshire tea. Okay, I can see
Oh, that would
that.
be
I
actually,
can see
yeah,
that.
that would
That's
be
pretty
nice.
good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Now this is what the stream has evolved into. What does
Sorry, I just had
Az
to throw
smell
that
like?
out there just because it's like, what questions can we ask about Az?
Oh my god, that's a great show actually. I'll do that by myself without him. Like ask me anything about Az, like what he smells like. I don't know, but I can imagine it. Price of Reason for 2 says, good evening to you. And I saw your She-Hulk review. Good job. Got to keep talking about this stuff. Got to keep talking about this stuff. Can't let it go. 200 Watt Studios for 2 says, hail all. Turtle tickles and moans for all. Thank you so much for that 200 Watt Studio, but this is not the right show. Thank you. Appreciate that though, man. Appreciate it. Turtle tickles for you. There you go. Okay. Call it. May I ask you a question? Oh my god.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Wow. That's great.
That could
That's
be
great.
funny.
Ask Dr. Az. I like it. Buckster 8888 says, I love it when Nina covers shows I'll never ever watch. Well, this is definitely one of them. You know what's crazy is I wasn't planning on covering this. I wasn't planning on covering this at all, but I was like, I ended up watching the episode for reasons. And then I was like, oh, wow, this was so bad that I feel like I also have to say something, especially because I've noticed that this is one of those shows that like a lot of the Marvel stands have gone after, especially the dudes in the community, saying, you know, this is very misogynistic, that you guys are all misogynists and you guys are all this and that and the other. But you know what? Like Jane and I, we're women and we don't like the show. And there's a reason we don't like the show. And I feel like we have to voice that so that we can kind of stand up for these guys because they have every right to not like it. It's trash. It is utter trash. And so
I also don't like the fact that female characters are being portrayed in this way because it's a poor representation of what they are.
yes,
That's my issue with it, is that they make her character so much better than this.
her character, like her the person she
The
is in
actor
this
is,
show, like this Jennifer Walters, in my
Yeah.
opinion, is a complete bitch. Like I don't
Yeah.
I think she like I will go as far as saying the C word, which I don't like saying at all. Like I hate that word, but she's a complete cunt. Like 100%. I'm like, why would you make this the hero of your show? How is she a hero or a hero material? Like, and the thing is that this is what you started off as with the script doctor when you were saying that if you want to kind of give a background of who she is and what kind of person she is, this would have been the perfect kind of moment to summarize her personality as Jennifer Walters before she is
right.
exactly, so that you can see this growth and change and the difference, right? And I think they completely failed at that. I was like, what is this prologue? Like the prologue was so bad.
Well, there is no difference though. That's the thing. That's the other thing that irritates me, is that there's no transition actually happening in her personality, and there's supposed to be. That's the whole. That's the whole point.
Yeah, because she's
different
becoming
with
stronger,
but
or
it's, I mean, even just in how she behaves, like all of that's very different, and it's so much more complex and layered, and they don't give her that. Just like they don't give Hulk anything in this to work with. And going back to what Script was saying in terms of having her be this sort of obstinate whatever pupil, she's not though. This is a person who is 30 something years, like 35, 36 years old. She's an adult. She's a professional. She's had this thing happen to her, which is supposed to upend her life. It would for anyone. But she knows everything. She knows it all. And it's unrealistic, first of all. And secondly, it just comes across as arrogant and childish and ignorant how she's behaving.
It really does. I'm just trying to give this screen capture up on here without like kind of
getting struck.
Yeah, that I'm trying to pinpoint this part because I was trying to get that part where he shows that they're in the car because we go from paralegal. Oh, let me tell you the story of how it became the Hulk. But by the way that she's talking to the camera too, I feel like is so kind of like condescending in a way because she's like, okay, so you guys want to know my story, but like I guess you won't want to really know my story until you hear what happened to me when I became the Hulk. So let me go back and tell you my story like this. It's like, why don't you just not tell me your story then? I didn't fucking ask anyway.
Something else was being channeled through that because this is this is a character who, if they're experienced attorney, and because they're supposed to be about 35 and they're experienced attorney, they should have at least a decade of various forms of argument underneath their belt. So the arguments that she would ever have against Bruce in order to convince herself that she wants to go back to her life should be very, very sound, but we don't get those. We are robbed of that because unfortunately the staff has publicly admitted they're not well adept with legal arguments or legal procedures or law procedures or courtroom dramas, which is, at least a third of what the Jennifer Walters character is about.
They don't know how to write human beings. People don't act like this.
They don't.
I know people do act like her. They're just crazies.
Right. Yeah, like the crazy bitchy people, like not superheroes.
People that don't have if they did have the character to get onto a staff of a district attorney's office, it was probably in Kenosha.
Burn. That's hilarious. Okay, so this is the scene that I was talking about because for this is kind of like the MacGuffin here that has been invented now to be like, this is how I control my Hulk powers by Bruce Banner. Like this
allows me to sit in cars.
It allows me to do whatever. And it was invented off screen and we never even got to see how he invented it or what he used or where's the technology coming from or anything like that. Did he use, Wakanda technology? Did he use stuff he got from, what's his name? Iron Man. We don't know any of that. Like, who fucking cares? Like, who cares? We think he may have invented it in the lab that Tony Stark kind of made for him, which we get to later on in this episode. But again, that's not clear. None of it is clear of how this came to be. But at the same time as this, I also noticed that he was talking about his hand being broken, like his arm.
That's from the snap. Yeah.
Yeah, from the snap, but he's the fucking Hulk. Like, doesn't he have some sort of, I don't know, like healing abilities? Like, you would think that he would heal faster.
He does. What he's talking about in that scene and later on is that his healing has slowed down significantly because of the snap. And when he reverts back, he built that device to become human so that his arm would start to heal properly again without the gamma radiation sort of being affected by the Infinity Stones or whatnot. It's so casually done.
Yeah.
And it's so thrown away so quick. Because again, this is Jennifer's story. It's not his. But it was just it was just given. I mean, literally what we're seeing is the byproduct of what we should be getting is a Hulk film. Because in the comics, Bruce Banner is so brilliant that he has invented a number of devices that even Reed Richards can't figure out what they're for or how he did it. And they were being sought after by the government for them to weaponize and use. And Bruce was trying to keep them secret when he had reverted into the Hulk and went jumping throughout New Mexico. In this part here, it's basically like, yeah, I invented this thing so that it would give my arm a chance to properly heal, and then all of a sudden, a spaceship pops out of nowhere.
Right. And I mean, we made jokes about this before, that she was like so distracted and driving and talking about a topic that's completely retarded. I'm just going to come out and say this is a retarded topic of, you know, whether Captain America had sex or not and was a virgin.
Yeah, anyone who doesn't know their history knows that's a lie. I had this conversation when the Winter Soldier came out because I was in LA, saw it with a bunch of friends, most of them were women, and they brought it up. Was Cap a virgin? I said, do you know how many people were having premarital sex in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s? It was more than what we have now.
It was war. I mean, you would have sex because you don't know what's going to happen the next day.
Oh, so it's not even about that. War, it's like just in the people. If you were just a civilian before there was war, they didn't care. The Roaring 20s wasn't just about financial benefit. It was about basically just keeping silent all the illicit affairs and sex that people were having from the ages of 15 to 40.
Wow.
I don't even think it was about that, though. I think the whole reason why that conversation was inserted into the show is to diminish Cap, because he is held out as this beacon of virtue and morality, and they had to take him down a notch.
Again.
And that was one way to do it, because she's going to be a complete and total slut throughout the show. So by comparison, they had to bring him down. And there was no reason for it.
I didn't think about the fact that she's going to be a total slut. That is true. Because that, like, from what I've seen in the ads, that's what it looks like. Because she's like, dude, it reminds me of like that episode of Futurama where they were making fun of Ally McBeal, and it's like single female lawyer having little fun, and like they're talking about how she would have sex with everybody. That's who she is. She's the single female lawyer, and she's going to be having sex with like everyone,
every guy she meets.
Well, actually, that's a little not so much from the comics, but when she goes into Hulk form, she's very, very in touch with her libido, and she hits on a lot of guys.
But we're talking about Jennifer Walters, though.
Oh no, Jennifer Walters is actually sleeping with a blonde guy who falls into money, but he has bad luck. And then on top of that, when she transforms into She-Hulk, she sleeps with her next door neighbor who's a med student, and this is happening at the same time.
Bow chicka bow wow.
Yeah,
that's sexy.
Yeah, that's the character.
Real quick, Infinity Creations for $10 says, so I watched the first episode of Don't Call Me She-Hulk after watching Az's and Jane's review of it, and I just can't with my life anymore. And Nina, please make some sense of this show. Also, hey Jane.
Hey.
Oh my gosh. We're trying. There is no sense to be made, I feel like, but we're trying. Heel versus Baby Powder. I can't think is already a name. For $2 says, hello, beautiful birds and script. Kisses. Wow. I can't believe somebody already made that a thing. Lefty Clitler, thank you for the $2, says the MCU She-Hulk is superior to the comic version. I'm
guessing that's sarcastic.
I think that's a joke. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, they think it is.
Hey, you know, you do you, boo. You do you. Heel versus Baby Powder for $2 says, me backside smells like a daisy in a meadow soft. Wow. Oh, okay. Thank you so much for that, I think. Wow. Okay. I don't know where to go from here. Oh, somebody just became a sponsor of the channel, so thank you. Oh no, it's George. George, the Giant Slayer, is giving out memberships like it's hotcakes.
Woo!
Thank you, George. It's George. George gave 10 memberships away. And then right as I was about to exit, I got a member message from Mardire. Thank you so much for that. Says, can we all just agree here and now to start calling her the Incredible Sulk? Hail Nina, and hail to the panel, and hail to the fellowship. I mean, that's what she is. She's like a sulky emo bitch. And I kind of don't disagree with that.
I can't think of any examples where she was sulking, because she was actually quite adverse to everything being done to her. Because sulking is to basically slouch through the shoulders, woe's me, this is my life, I can't do anything like that. doesn't.
She was
happen.
sulking a little bit when she like when we got that black screen where we don't know what happened, and then she ended up at that in that toilet where the female characters were like, "Oh my god, girl, did you just get attacked? Let's dress you up," and like not call the cops. That
And the
was
constant "I'm always mad because I'm a woman" thing.
yeah, I'm always mad. I'm a woman. And she was always like the whole like I'm mad that I'm the Hulk now. But let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about how she becomes the Hulk because that's where we were at. We left off at where she turns into the Hulk. Which is that she is the one that rescues Bruce Banner from the car accident because that spaceship shows up out of nowhere. We don't really know what the hell that spaceship is or where it came from. Is it one of the members of what were those crawls? The crawl, is it a crawl spaceship? Is it not? We don't know.
Well, whoever it is
Skrull-
driving that spaceship should know that you never fly towards another vehicle in the same lane.
Right.
I mean,
I guess-
you can't really fault Jennifer for that because clearly the other guy didn't follow any rules of general traffic of, hey, this thing's approaching me. Maybe I should, if I want to reach out to it, maybe I should like follow along its side, honk a horn, flash a light,
Yeah.
convey a signal. Instead, I'm just going to drop directly from above, right in front of it.
Pull
and
a
it'll know to
fucking
stop.
yeah. Pull a what is that movie? The Steven Spielberg one, the one where they're like making first contact. It's like do
Close
do
Encounters?
do. Yeah, Close Encounters. It's like pull a do. Like there's nothing. No.
And to be fair, technically Jennifer saved her car from Bruce Banner, not Bruce Banner from the car, because his device had broken and he was already going to change into the Hulk, and doing so inside that car would have done way more damage than
He didn't do shit.
he changed. He was changing. His device
But
was
he
broken. He was
wasn't,
going to be fine
though.
anyways. She had no idea he would survive. But
Oh my god. But his change is barely a change now, Script Doctor. Have you noticed that he's like way smaller now, even when he's going into like Hulk form? He's not really like the Hulk. He's like this kind of
Smart Hulk is smaller and slightly weaker than normal Hulk. It's part of that's actually the commonality with regards to the bridging of the consciousnesses. So the more your conscious is not in control and the Hulk persona takes over, the stronger you're going to be. That's why with Jennifer Walters, when she was introduced as the She-Hulk, she was basically weaker because her conscious mind makes her weaker in Hulk form. And when Bruce Banner merges himself, he also is slightly weaker in Hulk form. They also show the opposite to be true, which is when Hulk loses the Bruce Banner persona within his body, he becomes immensely strong. And when She-Hulk does that as well, she becomes bigger, more masculine, and immensely strong. And this happened in the late 80s and early 90s when she like dropped into another dimension. And she hated being that because she was like, it's not, I have no control. I could hurt people. Like she was then understanding everything that Bruce Banner warned her about. But those are things that she kind of knew prior in the comic books before this situation. So like the trade-off here is that Jennifer Walters has a stronger bridge between her Hulk consciousness and her consciousness, and it comes at the expense of her being as strong as the Hulk. So she's not. She's very, very strong, but she's nowhere Hulk's strength. And
well, at least original Hulk strength. Maybe
original Hulk strength. And they don't actually get to explore that in this episode. Like the first thing I would have done as soon as Hulk realized that she doesn't have like a secondary ego fighting for control, be like, well, there's got to be a reason for it, so let's test your limits.
They gloss over everything, man. Yeah. They just gloss over so many things, and it's like, why? Like, for example, this scene. Let's take this specific scene, right? She talks about how, like, they show, like, the blood drops into the veins. She gets the green. You get to see the green vein. All of a sudden, you kind of see like a silhouette of her in the car that she's like turning Hulk, and then right after that, black screen. Like, it's like, okay, we don't know what happens. We don't know what she did when she became She-Hulk, like for the first time. We just kind of like assumed that she's running into the woods and like, just being kind of like, I don't know what, like.
And who drives without shoes?
I
Just
don't
throw that
know.
out there. Like, have you ever? I've driven once without shoes as at an emergency. It was not comfortable because
No,
those
it's
pedals are not good for bare feet.
it's very uncomfortable. And in fact, isn't it, I think it's illegal in Canada to drive without shoes. I
How does
remember
anyone know though?
Yeah, getting caught is very difficult though.
I know, but like if you do get caught, you can get written up. Like it
Yeah.
was I remember because it was part of the book, like when I was trying to get my license, and it was part of the learners thing. Like you have to be wearing shoes to drive. I know that's like really
I wonder
weird,
why.
because it's difficult to control the car with bare feet. Like it's not like the
I mean,
pedals
it
are
isn't,
really
but it's just uncomfortable
Like
because
it's very
technically not.
uncomfortable.
pedals are not soft and they're not designed to be soft or intended to be soft.
It's very uncomfortable. I don't know how people do it. I mean, it can be done, obviously, but I don't know how. I've never.
I've done
don't
it. I
like
wouldn't recommend it.
I barely like driving in sandals because it feels so like.
Now to
it's-
me, that's dangerous.
yeah, because it can get caught with the sandal
Mhm.
flip. Like things have happened. But yeah, so this is the scene that you see. You see her here, like in the that's and all of a sudden it's like fade to black.
Fills out her clothes and
Oh no,
runs
wait,
into the
she
woods.
runs in the forest. Yeah. She runs in the forest, and then it's like fade to black, and then she wakes up in the forest, like right outside this kind of like dingy, what's it called? Like dive
a-
But why
bar.
why did she run away?
Because
I
she
don't
hulked
understand.
out.
She
We
hulked
don't
out
know.
and she ran away. Her Hulk persona made her run away. No,
We don't
again,
know.
another big flaw is the characters are very obviously manipulated by the writers as opposed to doing what you would think the characters are doing. Like when writing characters and how you define those characters are supposed to inform you of their actions, and you follow that to a logical conclusion or a rational one for that character's perspective. In this case here, it's like we need a set piece where she goes to a bar, gets cleaned up, and has a bunch of 3 creepy men, and blatantly creepy men, like not good representations of men, obviously. Creepy
Mm-mm.
men accost her. It's like,
And
why?
one of them,
Is this
the
most
lead
natural way to
dude,
do
by
it?
the way, was a black guy. Kind of, and I want to give a shout out to Jay Longbone for pointing that out because I did not like catch that. And then she made a Twitter post about it, and the dude literally has like a gold tooth, and I'm like, are you fucking
Wait,
serious
what
with
happened?
this?
What is he from, like the seedy side of Toronto?
Yeah, he was from like Compton. Hold on. I'm trying to get this dude. Jay Longbone talked about this, Jane, because right after the scene where she goes to get made up by these girls, like because they're like base and apparently, by the way, the writers of the show said that this was the most most important scene in the entire series of
Why?
her. I don't know because
Who
she got.
owns that type of hooker jacket? And why would they be going to a ladies' night bar?
Why would you feel someone who's just been attacked, right?
Mhm.
Why are you giving them a makeover?
Dude,
Instead
that
of
Why are
calling
you
the
ruining
police?
this
Instead of calling
damaging
the
possible
police.
evidence?
Exactly.
Yeah, and you know what's so crazy is that was my first. Okay, my first question was why isn't anyone calling the cops if they think she's actually been attacked? Why are they giving her hooker clothes? And they literally dressed her up like a hooker and put her in the same spot that they thought she was attacked in. Because
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so you made her more slutty and more,
Desirable-ish?
desirable to the predators, and then you put them
Right
outside.
back out in the street.
Like, what are you
No,
doing?
one more. They leave her alone out on the street. They leave her alone.
They leave
take
her-
all
that's
this
the
time
other
to
thing.
make her look
Why
beautiful,
would
and then
you
be
leave
okay,
her
girl, you got
alone?
this. You're on your own. Bye bye. It's like, no. And she's a lawyer, so she'd be like, first of all, don't touch me. That's evidence. Second of all, I wasn't attacked. Third, who the hell are you?
Mhm.
and fourth, I'm a lawyer. I will sue all of you if you touch me. Like, all of those things would be coming out of her mouth.
It
if she were-
would be. It
But you
would
wouldn't
be.
leave. That was a good point too, because that's like number one girl code. Why would you leave her alone outside in the dark on the street? Especially people who've
wouldn't.
just been attacked.
You wouldn't. That's the thing, Jane. Like, I mean, imagine you and I are at a club, right?
Yeah.
And we see some girl and she like comes in and she looks like she's been attacked. First thing I would do, I'd be like, Jane, call 911. You know, second, get her some water, get her cleaned up, like, you know, like not by giving her my hooker fucking jacket, but like get her like warmth because usually you're in shock if you've been
Get her a
attacked. So
blanket, have her
get her a
sit down,
blanket or something, have her sit down, get
get
her
her
some
talking
water.
right away.
Yeah, like, you know, and then just be like, you know, you got to start telling me your story, girl, like, because, you know, you got to maybe record it, you
Yeah.
know, so you have like an initial kind of take, like proof or whatever of what happened to her. And real quick, George sent a message saying Disney Plus She-Hulk is an advertisement for the next Libs of TikTok post describing everything wrong in the world. You're not wrong, George. You're not wrong. But also, George sent a super chat saying, thank you for the $10. Biggest pile of propaganda. What is this word? Simultaneously poisoned the public square with cancer to cannibalize the culture into madness. Meat suits that mumble at the screen and bow when they do as they are told. It's
That's
true,
funny.
George.
Well, that's the end goal, really. I mean, come on, George.
That's true. And 200 Watt Studios for two says female alien driver almost kills another driver. Oh my god. That is probably what happened. It was, it was a female alien.
Of course, you know that's the case.
And it's completely brushed aside. It's like Bruce is like, yeah, it's a ship. It does this. I'll have to follow up with that later. It's like, that's kind of important. It caused a massive change in your life with your cousin.
Hey, we have a surprise guest here. It's Az. Hi.
Yes.
Good
Hi.
early morning.
I heard you talking about whores, so I thought, hello, I want in on this business.
Oh my gosh. Welcome. Yeah, we were talking about whores.
I want to take, can I just take this a couple of steps back?
Sure, go ahead.
Right. Judging by the way these women are dressed, one of them a dude, and then judging by the way that when they see a woman who could have been raped in the woods, looking disheveled, dragged, and then they decide the best way to deal with this is to stick a whore coat on her, and then make her up like a whore. And then put her on the street corner outside of the bar
and leave her
where everyone is dressed like a whore. And then the guys come out. I ain't got a problem with those guys saying, "What's up, little lady?" Because that's a bar which is clearly designed for people who just want a whore.
Right. It was a dive
Well, I mean,
bar.
it's advertising a ladies' night, which is hysterical. On top of that, it's rule number one about going to a bar: never hang out in front of a bar, because that's where the people who are thrown out of the bar go to. And when you're thrown out of the bar, you're angry. And if you're angry, or if you're thrown out of the bar because you're, hitting on someone and you're horny, the last thing you want is to be someone stranger out at a bar while any one of those two parties arrive, because they are going to target you immediately. And then the other part too, I mean, the one thing that they did kind of well was the creepy approach. These guys, the way that they approached her, very creepy, was quite effective. I've seen that. I've had to call the police in that. I've had to help my friends from people just like that.
Yeah, so you got those guys being creepy.
Yep.
They didn't lay a finger on her.
They didn't.
Nope.
Not a single. She punched them.
Yep.
She didn't even hit them because she got tackled by the Hulk before she could do anything.
But she said she's always in control.
I know.
So she's been in control since the beginning. So
Which
all
I
of these are her
appreciated the irony
decisions.
of that. I appreciate the irony of that.
A seemingly intelligent woman. She keeps reminding her that she is, because all the men mansplain everything to her and she knows everything. So why does she leave the safety of the lit area by the bar to start walking away from the dudes towards the forest, where she just eventually turns around and punches two of them?
Yeah, and this was also the scene that I was talking about, Jane, with Jay Longbone saying that the lead attacker dude was a black dude and has a gold tooth. And I was like, I didn't even catch that, but that's so on the nose, especially for Disney, who's trying to be like we're not racist, but the main attacker dude.
Are they?
They're
really?
very racist. They're very sexist. They're very pedophilic.
Yeah,
they're very everything. They are very good at slave trading.
Oh boy.
because their employees keep getting arrested for doing that thing.
They
It's
literally
sex
do.
trafficking, so they're very good at sex trafficking.
Yeah.
No, if they were good at it, we'd never hear about it. They're actually terrible at it. They just enjoy it.
No,
Well,
God.
a couple of arrests, God knows how long it's been going on for.
Exactly. Like, I mean, if you're good at something and it's illegal, you technically don't get caught. I mean, that's
Never
just
do it
the
for
rule.
free.
I mean, that's how you get good at it. If you're bad at something and it's legal and you get caught, that's the byproduct, and we kind of want more of those. We want people to be bad at crime because it makes it easier for us to catch you, and then you don't have to deal with you anymore.
And then the government to let you out with a slap wrist.
Oh,
So-
that's the worst part of it too.
Like, this part was interesting to me again, guys, because again, like when she hulks out, like right before it cuts out, then you see like all these dudes who are like, gonna attack her, and they all of a sudden become like scared little girls, like hugging each other, like, oh my God, it's a green woman. Not like we've never seen the Hulk before. Like, it's like,
Well,
okay.
if they did see the Hulk before, they'd still be terrified because that's the common narrative in the world is that the Hulk's a monster, and even though
Would they be hugging each other though, Script Doctor?
No, I think they would be pushing each other towards her so that they could buy themselves time to get away faster.
Maybe.
I thought they would just been raping because they're just that's what they're there for. Quick to the rape mobile.
Oh my God.
No, black rapist. In a
Is-
Disney show, woman goes and kicks them all.
Oh my God. This is what this show is. This is what this fucking show is. I'm just speechless.
Why does
But
everyone want to smell me in the chat?
That was a topic earlier.
that was a topic of conversation before you came along. Script Doctor said that he imagines you smell like what did you say? He smells like?
No, I just asked, what do you think he smells like?
That's not what you said.
That's not what you said.
I imagine he
smells
smells.
good.
I said I imagine he takes great care in how he smells. Essentially, imagine he smells wonderful because you have to, and it's the one sense that I can't get from him because of the internet and the fact that there's an Atlantic Ocean between us.
And I said
I normally wear Bleu de Chanel. That's my fragrance of choice. But due to the depth trial, I have recently bought some Sauvage. So sometimes I splash on a bit, but it's normally Bleu de Chanel. That's my.
So I said I feel like Az might smell like baby powder and like freshly baby smell because of the the baby face and like just that really soft baby smell. I feel like that's what he would smell like.
Yeah, that's
And
what I
then-
go for. Yeah.
and then people went off in the chat about what you smelled like, and then
Different
somebody
kinds of
made an
tea.
account called heel versus baby powder for two that says as is here powdered backsides are soft too.
Hey, depending on how hot it gets or whatever, sometimes you gotta use some talcum powder.
Exactly. And that stuff smells good. It's very addictive. And
It's very fresh smelling. Yeah.
speaking of people who probably smell really nice and fresh, here's George Bolo.
How you doing, everyone?
Hi, George.
I
How are
imagine
you?
George smells of gooseberries.
Oh.
Gooseberries. No.
Gooseberries and red wine.
Gooseberries and red wine. That's interesting now.
I picture caramel.
I would say a
Oh,
cigar, like a cigar smell.
Jane is closer. Between Jane's script and ours, there's a smell there.
I was gonna say like
this thing.
pipe tobacco. I don't know why. Maybe it's like
No.
maybe it's the beard. I don't know. But you smell you remind me of like a grandpa that would like be
Wow.
smoking
Oh.
that
Interesting.
pipe
No.
tobacco.
You just killed me. Grandpa. Thanks.
I
Grandpa
imagine you
George.
like a grandpa. Oh, fuck
No,
yourself,
no.
Nina.
No, grandpa. Uncle, no
The
grandpa.
good grandpa smell, the one I
Oh my
like.
god. Can you imagine doing spade work in a nightclub with fucking Nina? And then she just turns to you and then says,
Grandpa.
you smell like my granddad. I'd fucking turn into the She-Hulk and fucking whack you halfway across the room.
No, God.
I'm so embarrassed right now. That is not what I meant. Oh my
You
god.
smell like my
No, I
grandpa.
get what you mean.
Great. You're picking up the bill and go fuck yourself.
No, that was horrible. I mean, I think I had to say a prayer afterwards, like the exercise. I mean,
Oh.
the crap out of it. And that was, She-Hulk was horrendous.
It
I
was
mean,
something.
we need to invent new words for it. I mean, what was that?
I know, right?
I mean,
We're
I
running out
felt
of
like I was watching. What was her name? Anita Sarkeesian had like written the script, something like that, where it was this fourth wave radical feminist who's like, "Look at us, women, hear us roar, little man, small."
Listen, just
It
call out
was
everything that's racist and
Right.
phobic because it is. It's like no sense of nuance. Everything's superficial to you, huh? That
Yeah.
does remind me of a lot of women in high school.
it reminds me of this one time that I went to a feminist rally, and it was all about how men are terrible, and that's literally the show. It's a feminist rally.
But acting was horrible. Did y'all notice that? Let's even put the story aside. I mean, Ruffalo at least used to know how to act. I mean, the way he was coming across in Maslany from Orphan Black to this. I mean, just the
Yeah,
caliber
I was
of acting
surprised
was.
about that, George, because she was really good in Orphan Black, and now I
Yeah, but
feel like
she's had the Marvel makeover.
yeah,
She's had the Marvel makeover where she goes in front of a camera with a virtue signal on her
Mhm.
chest, which is 6 months out of date now or whatever.
Mhm.
And then of course, she's in a show where she's got fucking Ginsburg wench behind, and she talks about how nasty men are, and then she does her. Then now she's coming out and doing. Why are people so fixated with women's bodies in the Marvel universe? Even though we've got like Chris Evans ripped to shreds, Robert Downey Jr. got ripped to shreds,
Right.
Paul Rudd ripped to shreds.
Thor just showed fucking
Well,
ass.
he's always been
entire
ripped to
body?
fucking He showed asshole.
He did.
Yeah,
He showed
He did.
sphincter.
I didn't see
In
Thor Pump and Thunder, whatever it was called.
he got
yeah,
bumped.
that one. He literally showed butt, and I was like,
there was. I mean, also, I guess Hulk showed butt first in Thor Ragnarok,
Oh,
but
that's right.
oh,
He
that's
didn't want to get
true.
naked for that scene either.
no. But the other part too, like Mark Ruffalo, his performance reminded me of Bruce Willis in the early 2000s. It was very phoned in. There's a certain cadence to the delivery that was like, this is Bruce Willis. I was showing the script 10 minutes ago. I'm repeating it like I think I'm Marlon
Moonlighting?
Brando.
You mean Moonlighting, or the one he did with James
I love
Garner?
moonlighting. How
No,
dare you?
No,
the one
this
he did
didn't
with
have
James
the
Garner.
showmanship of Moonlighting. This had more of like cop out.
It was Mark
This was
Ruffalo.
Bruce Willis
It was
cop-out.
just Mark Ruffalo. That's what it was.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it. There was-
Stoner Ruffalo.
just come on here and just tell everybody what you think of leftism and equality and diversity. And
It's just a waste of two really good actors. I don't understand how they expect this to last going forward, because they do it in everything now.
right. It's just it's over the top. It reminded me of if you took Fred Flintstone and exaggerated it and then gave the writer like some mushrooms or something. It was horrible.
Dude, the intersectional feminism in this specific show was just off the charts. I've never seen it be this on the nose. Like, because usually, even with the MCU stuff, I feel like you can kind of fight it and be like, okay, like if you're an normie and you want to be in denial, like they do it a little bit underhanded on certain things. Like, for example, I just had a conversation the other day with my normie friend who just saw Doctor Strange 2 and was like, I hated it. And I was like, well, why did you hate it? And then just kind of, he told me different things, but I was like, so did you pick up on the fact that, like, for example, it was mostly Wanda's movie, like it wasn't Doctor Strange? But he was like, no, I didn't really see it like that. I saw it that it was just a fucking awful movie. And I don't want to, watch a WandaVision show to know what's going on with Doctor Strange. He had other things that he didn't like about it versus what we talk about. So I feel like even then it's very, you have to look for it.
Sometimes
Somewhat.
it's watching it in context, in a larger context, because we watch it all together, and normies don't necessarily do that. But in this show, it seems like they specifically and intentionally inserted it into every single scene. Like,
Yes.
as they were writing it, they were like, okay, what can we put in here to degrade men?
Every line,
was that a drag queen? Did y'all notice was that a drag queen inside the bathroom?
I think there
yes,
was two of them.
yes,
I think
there
the
was
one on the left, the black one on the left, and the white one on the right were both men.
So we have wow.
No,
And the
I
fact that they were
thought.
in the bathroom is egregious. So.
I think the black lady. I don't know if she was.
That looks like a
trans.
drag queen.
I thought that was both of them, actually. Yeah.
Really? I thought like this person was
Right.
I think the big one.
I thought the dude with the man's voice was.
I couldn't tell which voice was coming out of which person in that hectic thing.
Yeah, I
No,
didn't
they were
know.
too busy whoring her up
And what was the point of that? What was the point of whoring her up?
to get her raped outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To make predators go after her so that she can Hulk out. That was
Right.
that's
it.
They wanted to do a girl power coming together, helping each other type of scene, but that's not how it would play out at
in
all.
real life.
Jane,
No.
feel free to correct me on this one, but I feel that if you went into a woman's restroom and you saw a disheveled woman with mud and blood on her and everything, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't give her a makeover and dress her up like a hooker. I got a feeling, call it intuition, maybe women's intuition, I don't know, that you would possibly try and help her. That you would probably say, "Are you okay? Is anything happening? Can we get you cleaned up? Do you have a phone so I can call a friend and get, and so they know, normal things." But this thing here, we've got the quadrilogy of, fuck knows what, who did the worst possible thing that they could do to a woman.
Yeah.
Clearly in distress. Let's just superficially pad you over, because this is all fucking superficial nowadays. Let's just superficially put stuff over the mess, send you back out there.
See, this is the other part you have to consider. If the writer's room in Hollywood is full of these women and this is what they think needs to be done, no wonder there's so much doubt about the egregious nature of those assault cases and whatnot. Because, like, if your priority is, I've just been hurt and assaulted, I'm not going to report to police, I'm going to touch up my makeup, that is not something that you take literally. That is literally a Carolyn Ray stand-up joke, which is basically when she's like, she calls her mom crying, "Mom, I have this problem, this happened," and her mom says, "Just put a little lipstick on." Like, that's the joke, is the fact
yeah, and it's like you're so right about that script, and it just made me think that if you're gearing this towards, let's say, even like young women, like what a bad message to put in a movie or a show
This
for
isn't
young
geared to
girls
young
and
women.
I know.
But isn't that what they said the other
But
day?
they're
40-year-old
watching it
wine
though.
mom.
But they are watching it. Kids will be watching this, and this is like the worst kind of message you want to tell a little girl that's
especially
transitioning into becoming a woman.
Don't let drag queens into the bathroom.
I was gonna say, it's empowering to have men in women's bathrooms pretending to be women.
And the other thing too is when they leave.
So maybe those two men are the ones covering up their own type of crime. It's like, did I do this to her maybe 2 hours ago? I better cover her up and give her a hooker jacket.
And feed it to the wolves outside.
Script, I have a question. What type of writers today are writing this? I mean, are these people who have experience? Are they coming right out of university with a degree? Are they coming through some mentorship program? I mean, like, who writes it?
Jessica Gao is the showrunner. She has some pretty decent experience, and I've read her work independently of these shows, and they're actually quite good scripts. Like she wrote famously the Pickle Rip episode.
Really?
Rick and Morty. Yep.
Yeah, I know Rick and Morty, but how could she go from that to this?
Because these are assignment gigs. This is an assignment gig under Marvel, so basically they're being dictated by the show director and Kevin Feige of what they want to do. They've also got, this is the first time she's had the responsibility of holding a writer's room on streaming, and she was just, she'd been around for a while, but she was just starting out with regards to that, understanding that relationship and that dynamic. And even 17 years screenwriting, I've never run a show. I don't know if I could do it, because there's a lot of things you have to think about, and in order to pick your staff, you have to know them intimately well and know what you're going to get out of them. And reconciling that with their availability and how much they're going to cost based on what their agents negotiate and stuff, those are all things that are a little bit outside of my experience, because I've always been on the other end of that.
So you got Dana Schwartz. She's
Ivy
League educated, wrote a couple of books called I Smell Like Cat Piss and Men Don't Like Me. And then, she gets the gig.
I feel like
staff writer. She's got one of 7 voices
episode,
in there. Yeah.
I feel like this is like made for postmenopausal, like madams.
Well, the tragedy of it is that when you take a look at it on paper and you see the concepts of the situations that are going there and what the concepts are fine. It's the means of exploring those concepts that are absolutely atrocious. And to go back to Nina's point and the friend that saw Doctor Strange and didn't pick up on some of the other aspects, what we're seeing is a core misunderstanding of just narrative. If you cannot make a movie strongly on the narrative enough for people to even somewhat enjoy it, then just adding on all these identity politics or whatever type of ideology you have on top of that is just going to make those incorporations of them stand out far more because the narrative's not there to draw in the audience and let them get lost in the world.
Makes sense.
And here's the other part too. Like this scene here, if any, the more dramatic scene, if I was told, oh, before this, she calls her cousin to come pick her up. So we know that they give her a phone. She calls somebody. She's waiting for somebody. We know it's Hulk because he shows up at the end. Then he was there. She should be inside the bar. And then you have this really fun scene of giant Hulk walks through the bar on ladies' night and all the women fawn over him.
Mm-hmm.
That is your conflict right there because his priority is to help get Jen out. The conflict is that the women are liking him or surrounding him, and all the other men in there are really upset and they can't do anything about it because it's the freaking Hulk.
The Hulk.
Well, and you would
That's your
think
comedy.
that
That's
the
your story.
women wouldn't leave her alone, but they did. Jane,
There's
what
that too,
what were you gonna say?
No, I was just, that's precisely what I was going to say is that they would have been out there with her. And then
Yeah.
if you have the guys come over to start some sort of conflict or whatever, then you could have had the women defending her and then demonstrate the men being jerks by having them actually do something jerkish and then have Hulk come in. But
There you go.
they just drop, it's all half done.
It's all manipulating the characters to fit what exactly the writers want to do, as opposed to finding very, relationship-based human reasons to put them in the situations that make sense.
And whenever we don't have the answers, fade to black next scene, because that's basically what happens here several times in this show. So
Az was right. Sorry. So he was when he was saying like you took her from Orphan Black and turned her into, they slapped Marvel on her. But I just wonder if that's done with an enema or is that done orally?
Ooh.
I think
with the brand,
programming.
I mean, do they literally
take
tell
a
an
disc
actor?
out at the back and they just put another disc in the bottom? These are your new
And I think,
orders.
too,
Do you
one more
think-
thing too about what you were talking about, who this is for. I think it's for women like this character, what they've created. It's 20 and 30 something year olds who have been indoctrinated through the university system to legitimately despise men and gender.
I think you're
and
right,
gender
Jen.
roles.
It's like that new feminist. That's what I'm saying. This I feel like I read the exact and heard the exact same things in this feminist rally that I went to, like in the 90s and in the 2000s, like early 2000s, because this is the same shit that you would hear there, and it's literally written line for line now in these shows, and you're like, what am I watching? Like it's so vindictive. Like it's so vindictive in a sense of that they really truly hate men with that passion. And it's like now you can see it as a form of art. And they're like, yeah, this is
The ratings have to be horrible though. I mean, they have to be having something that's showing them that none of this is working out. I mean, you go from Miss Marvel and you go to this and just one show after the other. Moon Knight, it just gets worse and worse. And worse.
This will do better than Ms. Marvel because
Really?
nobody cared about Ms. Marvel.
Nobody watched
So
it.
nobody checked in at all. But this has got so much hoo-ha surrounding it that I think this will do better than Ms. Marvel, but
Moon
less
Knight?
than... No, I think it'll do better than Ms. Marvel, but less than Hawkeye, which was the lowest before.
Okay.
You'll do somewhere just over 1 million, maybe. But I think a lot of the first episode, again, is the freak show. Now people have seen what it's like. The normies kind of laugh, and then they're just gone.
Gotcha.
Yeah. They're like,
it's
let's say how bad this really is. And then they're like, oh God. And then they just don't watch anymore. And I can see
or
why.
they see a video, or they see something, or they see an article, and they're just like, haha, look at that clip.
Mm-hmm.
Well, does anybody know if they're getting the message? I mean, I read a lot of articles which say, things are changing, how Netflix is moving, how Warner is changing the internal management and all this structure. But has anyone heard, like Script, have you heard anything where Hollywood is getting the message from insiders? Like we have to start readjusting what we're creating?
Well, I've heard that from a lot of people in Hollywood, not the most prominent members, of course, but a lot of people in Hollywood for years. Since 2017 would be the earliest I heard it, is the fact that they're not getting the responses that they expected with the shows that they're putting out. So they started to change course, and some of them got fired. Some of them, the courses were changed, but the shows that they were working on, again, you're averaging 500 shows a year. That's different shows, not episodes combined, but different shows. That's a lot to compete with. Things get tossed out. Not all of those 500 fit the ideology of some of the more prominent IPs. They don't. The fact of the matter is that they're the ones that go based on not so much merit, but on the normal aggregate of customer involvement or audience involvement. And so if you have, tyrants like Disney taking over the narrative on the advertising market with regards to their films and TV shows, it drowns out all the other voices and all the other possible shows that are out there that are probably really, really good that you'll never hear of. I mean, not many people heard of Severance or Yellowstone or any of the other shows that are on the other streaming networks because they can't.
They're both
compete.
Apple, though, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're with Apple, and Apple
Apple
just doesn't know how to advertise.
Yeah, exactly. And Apple are just not putting the word out.
Oh, I thought it was Paramount. Did Yellowstone move from Paramount?
Oh, yeah, no. Severance is on Apple. Yellowstone's on Paramount. The one thing that they did try to advertise, Isaac Asimov's Foundation, bombed because it's David S. Goyer who doesn't care and doesn't know.
I heard the Foundation bombed too.
It would have been great though, honestly.
It should have been great, but you didn't.
Severance was amazing though.
Yeah.
Severance was better than
fantastic.
Yeah.
Love it.
But yeah, it just comes down to it comes down to the harder part of the core, which is that, I learned this in 2008, 2009, that advertisers don't know how to sell things.
Yeah. Oh,
and so as a result, the studios dictate how they're going to put what they have out on the market. And when advertisers don't know how to sell, the message that comes from studios like Disney at the time, or currently to a point, dominates over because there's no one capable enough to say, oh, I can counter that with a better ad campaign. I can do a better thing to market and show how this show is way better than that show, and you should be watching us and not them. We don't have those types of ambitious people in the advertising world anymore, at least not on the frequency and with the power that they used to have, like in the 80s and 90s, where must-see TV on Thursdays, that was fought over for a decade by all the networks.
But do they want that?
Nothing
though?
like that now.
I mean, it doesn't seem to me that they are even interested in it, because that would most likely result in something that's a tad more subtle, and they want to put the message out there in the very first trailer.
Yeah,
no,
and they don't understand that turns people away.
But you'd think they would have gotten smarter about it. Even someone who is that idealistic, meaning they're radicalized in their ideology, you think, you know what, we need to find a subtler way to do this.
I think Disney are radicalized in their ideology.
They are, but don't you think
radicalized?
But if
Disney, they are not gonna change. You don't believe that they're going Paramount might, others might. Disney are not going to fucking change. They are all into this.
Yeah, they're fully in on this.
They have a harder journey to change than any of the other studios. And this is 101 when it comes to radicalization, is that you don't want the people teaching those that they're radicalizing all the obvious traits.
Right, but I get that.
Because you want them to be obvious and you have to be subtle, because that's how you manage to spread it more. So it's okay for the advertisers and Disney to be to be obvious with regards to their idea, but the people that they learned it from have to keep it close to the chest so that they can teach more and not be called out.
I got you. So they're fighting it kind of like two different fronts. Because I thought if I was one of them and I wanted to get my message out, and just being, in your face isn't working, I'd be like, okay, let me backtrack. If I want this to succeed, I'm going to take a subtler strategic approach.
But that's how it used to be done. That's why when they come back at us and say, oh, well, Star Trek's always been political. Yeah, but it was smart about it.
Right.
It didn't
and it was over the political in the abstract, not with regards to parties. The other part, too, is this beautiful, it's this beautiful lesson that I learned, which is I taught everything you know, but I didn't teach you everything I know. And that's the power split when it comes to these types of ideologies. They teach them everything that they know, but they don't teach them that extra thing, which is like, the lessons that I use to convince you to believe in the bullshit that I'm saying. Like, they don't teach you that. Right. And they do that specifically so that they can say, okay, now I'm sending you out into the world. You're going to go manipulate these certain aspects of society. And then next group of kids come in, I teach them the same thing, and I do it again and again. I'm the puppet master, so forth. And then out of all of those classes, maybe one or two of them will pick up exactly on how they're doing it. And then they will then be elevated to this level of the teacher, and they'll go back into academia. And then when that teacher retires or dies, those two will step into the spot and continue the process. And that's generally how it goes in that regard.
And Star Trek never used to teach you how to think.
No.
I mean, it did teach you how to think. It never told you how to think. Nowadays, we're just being told what our morality must be. We must be told
Lecture.
that feminism good. Yeah, it's literally being spoken to like a child, but not necessarily spoken to, literally told off
Right.
as a child. If you don't espouse this ideology, you're bad. Whereas before they would pose a conundrum, and then they'd allow you to make your decision. You know, so many of the great Star Trek episodes, TNG episodes,
Oh yeah.
would pose that conundrum.
Mhm.
Sometimes the conundrum, you know, might what we would depict as simple, but others not necessarily. I mean, that one where I can't remember the name of the actual episode, but Riker gets injured while on a planet. So it unfortunately expedites the first contact with the world.
That's the episode
Mhm.
First Contact. Yes.
Yes. And they have to do it subtly because obviously they're trying to get Riker found and out of there. But it's that episode was clearly demonstrating a progressive society, not necessarily a Republican.
No, not at all.
Or a Democrat, but you know, progressive society and a more conservative society, and it played both positions very well.
It did.
You know, it showed you about how progressiveness could lead to, you know, this exploration, development, yada yada yada. But it also, on the conservative side, said you have to be very careful about how quickly you progress, because this isn't just for you. This is for the whole nation. This is for everybody. And people, you know, a change can take time to naturally and organically happen. And I think this is certainly through the 90s and the 2000s. I think society here on Earth, you know, very subtly and nicely progressed without any real pushing or anything like that. Tolerance just got raised. We, you know,
Well, it was organic versus
it was
now.
organic, and except now it's
Beaten.
you know, we just had these articles come out saying alphabet acceptance is down massively,
Right.
like massively in kids today. And that's because, you know, instead of having a natural development of that, which we've had, you now have these radical
Goose steppers.
activists. Literally, yeah. I mean, this is literally 1930s Germany. I've said this many times, and it is happening. But you've got these activists which are demanding, we want this, we want that, we should have this. And what have we got now? You know, we've got this degeneracy of dancing in front of kids and shoving money down drag queens. We've got people trying to accept maps and all that kind of stuff. That isn't natural development, nor should it be natural development.
Right.
And that's why you're turning people off. So you've got to be very careful with the way that you choose to show your political leaning.
Well, that goes back into the beautiful episode that you cited with regards to First Contact, because the moralistic lesson in that one is that people have their own pace. That's the thematic thing. That's what they're trying to say, is that people have their own pace, and then they're saying, well, this is the conflict that can be presented for people. Some people will have a faster pace than others, and in some of those people that have a slower pace, they might lash out negatively towards other people moving ahead of them out of fear, jealousy, whatever. And those have to be taken into account. And it goes into a lesson that I learned when the few summers I had to work on a farm in Flamborough, which I don't recommend. It's tough, which is that the world's not ready for anything. It just happens, and we as a species adapt. And if we adapt appropriately, and it takes time. And I'm like, that's a great message. That would be something that you'd hear from like Jonathan Kent talking to Clark about, like, is the world ready for Superman? It's like, no, they'll never be ready for you, but they adapt. So be who you are and stick true to your guns, and they will accept you. It will take time. But there's nothing wrong with that, because that's how change is. Something happens. People were blown away by the invention of the train. And there's definitely people afraid of it. But it's like, well, we're not forcing it down on you you have to take this. We just made it so that we can travel people and goods from one point to another faster and safer. That's about it. And then it's because there's no compulsion in there, people became, okay, I'm less terrified of it. I think it's a cool progress for society. I see advantages to it, what have you. What we're seeing now is basically change by compulsion, which is wrong. It's antithetical to all the the fundamentals of our species, is that you cannot force change on someone. You can present the idea, let them choose, and if it works, it grows, and if it doesn't, it's tossed aside. The steam engine was invented 1,000 years before. People were like, I don't have a use for this. We're not going to force on people, and it just kind of fell to the sidelines. And then we didn't get it back again until society grew to a point where it's like, we need something that can do this. There's a very important reason with regards to choice, and I think that choice is the one theme that was in the Matrix sequels, which was well presented in the idea, but terribly executed in what the function is and why it's important. And I think that's why those two movies were nowhere near as impactful as the first. And when it comes down into the writing for, say, She-Hulk, they take all these terrible choices for ideas that they want to do, and I think it has more to do with the fact that we're dealing with a group of people that don't understand the ideas they are talking about and are just touting someone else's interpretation of it, which they themselves also don't understand. So you've got all these degrees of separations of an idea that might, in its original form, be good and something to explore, but has been gone through the telephone game of succession from one person to another, and it's no longer anything of what it represents prior, and therefore it's being touted as that new thing where someone's like, hey, wouldn't it be nice if people who are of a consenting age and love each other, were able to not be accosted on the street because of that. And then it went down to, well, now we have to have people that are maps have to be accepted. It's like, no, because there's no consent with maps.
No, not at all. Not at all. But that's what y'all were just saying when you were talking about Star Trek earlier. They used to make us think by asking questions, but interlacing it. Now it's just.
And they had an idea and a narrative.
Come on, you remember the
where they're going, but they just wanted to say the general morality of something is not as black and white as you think it is, but there's a reason it's there. And we're going to say this side has this reason to go against it. This side has the other reason to go against it. But at the end of the episode, it's not so much as making a choice of yourself as to how the result should be. It's be like, you understand more the different perspectives that are being at play, but that the core moral value it was right in the end. Like at the end of the Drumhead, it was right for Picard to accuse or to say the things he did and to cast out that corrupt admiral because they're abusing power.
Yeah,
but
I just saw this
point of view of vigilance is not to be tossed away. It's the abuse of that. That's it.
But the beauty was Worf was caught up in it.
Right.
Yep,
oh
absolutely.
God, yeah. He went
Worf
with
was
it.
all caught up in it, and you had that great line. If you didn't want to, if you were innocent, you wouldn't be silent. And it's like, no, that is not the case. That in itself is opening up a can of worms, which could lead to all sorts. And Worf at the end, that speech at the end between Picard and Worf is just incredible. But Picard's just saying, mustache twirling villains are easy to spot. It's those who come with good intention, wrap themselves in good intention.
Patriotism, wasn't it? Yeah, something like that. It was beautiful.
Because
the first episode of Star Trek I ever saw impacted me that way. That was, I can't remember the name. It's where one race was black on one side and white on the other.
Let this be your last battlefield.
Yeah, and that impressed me a lot. And I remember.
I just recently saw, like just yesterday or the day before, saw the DS9 episode where Garak and Odo get captured by the Cardassians, and they have like that whole thing where Garak is torturing Odo, and then but it's basically they have the same storyline and they become friends at the end, but it's like it's that buildup of knowing that character, and that's one of the things that Star Trek did so well is is built that progression of what leads characters to do whatever it is they do, and that's what's missing in stuff like She-Hulk, where we don't understand. There is no progression. Like this is what we were just talking about right now with this episode, is that whenever there's nothing to talk about, or whatever, like there's something to talk about, but they don't know where what happened. It's like fade to black, next scene, fade to black, next scene. They don't know, and there is no progression. And it's just like what we were talking about with Jane at the very beginning of the show. They're not making it. There's no difference between this character because you're not building her up. So it's just she's the same old bitchy person that she was, like before. The Karen that she is before, and then she turns into angry Karen after. And it's like, okay, well, what are we really doing here with this?
But that's the problem too. They don't understand the concept of what progression actually is. If your goal is to demonstrate a quote unquote strong woman, Well, that strength has to come from somewhere, right? There has to be some sort of vulnerability, right? There have to be
Exactly.
mistakes. You evolve and you grow. That's how you become strong. But they don't want to depict that. And then paired with that is always the destruction of the other. So to make her appear strong, they have to make the men appear weak.
Weak.
It's like you don't have to do
Mhm.
all of that's not
That's the
not
lazy way to do it.
necessary.
But it
It's
reminds me of
exactly
school.
it's lazy.
Does it remind you of school, Jane, though, where you had those people who were insecure and the only way they could make themselves feel better was to put other people down?
Being
That's
bullies.
exactly
Yeah.
what's happening.
It is. And in
Delicious.
this case, the Hulk is the victim because every single scene is about the Hulk becoming this utter joke.
Right.
Yeah.
Essentially, same thing that happened to Thor, just like a minor man of himself. Like he's nothing anymore. He's just a pathetic loser that just is
And
the
he's
butt
stronger
of his
than her. Wasn't he stronger than her in the comics, Nina?
He still is.
Oh, he beats the shit out of her.
He was
Yeah.
he
Because
was
I
the
didn't read
man.
He
Hulk.
leaves her
I
on the
read
floor
one.
and she's just on the floor going, heaven help us. 'cause,
Men
you
are
know,
It
stronger
makes her rebuild his
physically.
bar.
Okay. But so he was in the comics stronger than her because I never read the
Yes.
She-Hulk. I think
As I
one
said at the start of the show, the trade-off with regards to the Hulk is that the more your principal consciousness is involved in the actual Hulk persona, the weaker physically you are. So when Hulk Bruce Banner merges together, he's slightly weaker than he is as just blind, raging Hulk.
So
With
Lou
Jennifer
Ferrigno
Walters-
Hulk is like the strongest kind of like in that
he's
way.
the daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in this show, it's different. In this show, she's better in everything. She's smarter than him. She's smarter than Professor Hulk, which they decided to call Smart Hulk because he was like,
Ugh.
I'm Smart Hulk now. And I
Well,
was
there's
like,
too many
They've never read a
syllables.
comic, so they never got to Professor Hulk. You see?
yeah.
It's like
I
I
was
feel like
Smart
they should
Hulk.
say Beta Boy on top of his head, you know.
Oh my god.
Well,
It was
the dichotomy in this relationship is that he's kind of patronizing her throughout the entire thing because he's like, hey, yeah, you synthesize gamma radiation differently, and I was able to use it to clear my arm. She's like, better? And he's like, no, different. And that's totally the bigger brother or to the little sibling saying, listen, you're on your way.
Mhm.
Don't get an ego about yourself. But she holds on to that ego, and he just kind of lets her ride it out because, like any good sibling would, it's going to smack her really hard in the face.
They're not siblings, they're cousins. You
They
know?
are cousins, yeah, but
They're
close cousins do have
and
a
we've never heard
pseudo-sibling.
any relationship between them.
Yeah.
So, you know, the
Yeah.
closeness that is fake in itself. But a woman, she's in her mid-30s
Yep.
now. And you put a mid-30s woman that is actually balanced in the fucking head in that position. She doesn't respond with I'm better.
Right. No.
She
She'd be
shouldn't. No,
mature.
exactly.
She would
mature.
be listening and absorbing the information that he's trying to give her about the way
about
that
what's happened to her.
Yeah,
She
she's
processes it
playing
and-
one-upmanship. It's stupid.
Well, he's not
Yeah, she's acting like an 8 or 9-year-old as opposed
Yeah.
to a 35-year-old. That was the
Exactly.
biggest thing. Yeah.
Yeah, hit that
Well,
on
that's
the
the
head.
The
mentality
lawyer
of the
should be
people writing
taking
it.
notes. Like she would have a binder as big as his.
She would have snuck that binder of his and read it all and be like, listen,
Yeah.
I don't have 15 years, but I've
Right.
read your conclusions. Let's see if we
Right.
can work together to do this
Right.
faster because I worked really hard for this life I love and I want to get back to it as quickly as possible. And that would actually be more inclined to the original Jennifer Walters character, who her flaws are she's compassionate, but she's arrogant.
Okay.
And
She's not
so they
compassionate.
nailed the arrogant part really well.
She's not compassionate
Where is
at all.
compassion? I never saw a scrap of compassion this episode.
Yeah, we don't have any compassion in this part at all. Like the closest you
Oh,
get is
you
like,
meant
I
in
love
the
you, Bruce,
comic
but I gotta
sense.
get back to work. It's like, that's not compassionate. Just saying I love you. Like that's
She drove
No.
over him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get how that happened
Oh
either.
my god, that driving over scene.
That's
I
how
was like,
compassionate she is. She ran over her cousin. I'm not compassionate.
because
She's
you
that
know
compassionate. She punched him in the face to start the fight.
she's so compassionate okay, that's the thing that really bugged me about this episode too, is that because they kept saying that she's in control of herself, there's no dichotomy, she's in control, this is her
Right.
inside the Hawk's body. So I'm thinking to myself, so that means you have literally no self-control whatsoever. Like
Correct.
you're just gonna go around and run over people you don't
Do,
like.
do you know what she is,
What-
Nina? She's an over-emotional woman.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
the irony is that her monologue about being able to control her anger, it's not control. She's suppressing it. Like that's
Yeah.
the irony in it. And I don't even think the writers realized that when they were doing it, because everything that she says is not, I'm in control. It's like, no, you suppress. So you just unsuppress and resuppress whenever you want. and everything that Bruce is essentially trying to teach is about actually controlling the anger part. But this is what I call the happy accident, when the writer is so caught up in their own type of ideal that they forget the subtext of the very thing that they're doing, and they'll never repeat it intentionally again.
When she goes back to the lawyer part after she's explained the origin, she says, so long story short, I was right and Bruce is wrong.
Yeah. But that's to her arrogance. And I think it'd be like the only way you can kind of salvage that, which is I think why I don't call this a pilot but a prologue, is the fact that she makes that statement and immediately everything that follows proves to us as the audience that no, she was wrong, Bruce is right, and then she has to go on that journey. That's how you would write it if you were taking this with actually any type of understanding of a character's journey. The question is, will they follow through with that? I don't know. I have my doubts, because we don't even have a format of what this show will be like, because the entire bulk of it is the origin of her She-Hulkness. We don't know the format of her going to court, her dealing with society. All of that stuff is left as a mystery
don't even know,
until the next episode.
As a normie, like they didn't even introduce who the woman was that showed up. Like, I mean, if you're into the comics, you'll know who the bad guy is. But if you're a normie,
I thought it was Tatiana or something. Was it
Tatiana,
Is it Tatiana or Tatiana? Because
she's definitely had some titties. That's for sure.
I think Tatiana is the one who
Tatiana is the actor
who dances for drinking.
Tatiana is the actor. Tatiana.
I thought it was Titiana. No, really, the one who came bursting into the courtroom.
Yeah, he's got tits in it. That's all I know.
She's got tits.
She's from The Good Life.
Okay.
Or The Good Place. Sorry, The Good Place.
But see, when she hit her, I was like, see, she's not in control. She could have just killed her. That's right. You know, the way she just let it loose.
Yeah.
It was
the way she burst in, said nothing.
Right.
Through a desk that was not there.
Yeah.
Thrown back at her, and then it vanished again.
Right.
And then did some of the worst Y work I've seen in my whole fucking life.
We haven't seen rings
people
yet.
Don't fly perfectly level or parallel to the ground in a flying kick. There's
she just floated
there's a thing
over.
called a parabola, or a parabolic movement.
Wait till we see.
Mental.
Right. It's horrible.
Okay, so I have another legitimate question. If the Hulk is making Hulks now with his blood, I mean, kind of like, I guess Thor did the same thing in his movie. He was like, no, I could make Thors with the power of Thor. Whatever.
They
have to share the same
by
DNA.
saying that her genetics, that they have similar genetic structure, which allows them to process gamma radiation.
One in a million.
Okay, so
he burned the blood.
He could turn his family into a bunch of Hulks, maybe.
Okay, so she's not gonna start turning people into the Hulk when she menstruates, right? Like, I mean,
she probably killed them. She probably killed them.
You did Abomination. Remember, they gave him the injections, and that's what he turned.
Got the super soldier serum, or a variation of it, plus the gamma radiation.
Right.
Okay, I was just
the leader got in the Incredible Hulk. The leader got some of the blood in his open head wound in that version, but we haven't seen the leader yet, which is also a disservice, because I think that could probably have helped the Hulk character a bit more.
And we're supposed to see Red Hulk, aren't we? Eventually, wasn't that Donald, the actor who just passed away a few months ago?
Oh yeah,
the one who played General Ross.
Yes.
Oh,
he was supposed to be Red
Body
Hulk.
Heat and
William
Hurt.
William Hurt. Yeah.
Thank you. I needed the first name. William Hurt passed away, and then he's Thunderbolt Ross. He turns into Red Hulk, and he doesn't ever really change back. But it'd be kind of weird to have him have his character there and not really be
him.
Actually, in what was it, Mythic Quest, his last episode, William Hurt's last episode there, where he read his story to the other writer, was actually quite a touching scene.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that
show.
I
thought his last show was Goliath. I didn't know that.
I think the last airing of his performances was probably Goliath.
Okay, I got to go see Mythic Quest then to see that. I liked William Hurt as an actor.
Yeah, he's only in one or two episodes of it.
Yeah, I think so.
So where do they go from here? Is this just going to be like a TikTok advertisement now for She-Hulk? I mean, because that's what I'm getting, or like an old Tumblr ad. She's going to bounce from one bed to bed. I mean, is that what?
I mean, that's what it seems like it's going, but it's just, this is a mess. So let's go back to some of the stuff that we didn't catch though. Because, okay, so they start training together. He brings out his binder, and he basically says, I've noted my experience as the Hulk for the last 15 years, and I know what it's like. And then it turns out that she's not the Hulk. Like she doesn't have that multiple personality, the anger personality. It's just her in the
That's
Hulk's
called
body.
period.
And I know as you were away, but I was asking, like, is her period blood gonna start turning like people into Hulks?
It's probably like an alien. It's like fucking sulfuric acid.
Yeah, it'll kill him. It's gamma radiated.
Yeah.
So
What happens if she gets
lethal dose of
pregnant?
gamma radiation.
Oh, now what happens if she gets pregnant?
She's gonna abort, George. Come on,
Have a
now.
baby Hulk?
Dude.
yeah.
It's funny because they were actually that was a subplot in one of the comics in Sensational She-Hulk, where she got engaged to Wyatt Wingfoot, who is a Native American.
White Wingfoot?
Whoa.
That sounds a little racist.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
White Wingfoot, black elf, crouching, coochie, hidden. That's interesting.
He's actually considered a red-skinned man, even though he's not. And that's the joke, is the fact that's what John Byrne was doing, is like, oh, let's put a green-skinned woman with a red-skinned guy. What's a red-skinned guy? Oh, washing the Redskins. Oh, we'll go to native law. It's all stupid weird.
Gotcha.
But he's this very large, muscular man, and they actually pose a question: can they have kids? And she's like, I don't even know. I don't even think I could. And she started to start really thinking about that, and because she couldn't come up with the answer, she ended up having to break off the engagement. It was a decent little sub story going on there, but you pose a pretty good question. She has a lethal dose of radiation. Mm-hmm. It doesn't just cause an uproar in the social part of her life as well, but it would also cause an uproar with regards to the future of what she would do. Like we have a certain sense of immortality through our children, and now she won't have that option, or possibly doesn't have that option. So that's another thing to do. Like, what if she was a lawyer who worked so hard to get where she is, meets the guy that she loves, and then finds out, oh, you can't
actually get pregnant. Yeah.
You see, that's the part, again, I didn't like any of this episode, but what stuck out at me was when she kept bitching about her life. I'm like, bitch, you just became a superhero. Like, you're invulnerable in so many ways. You think she would be happy about it. But it was that grated on me.
When the part that got to me the most was her feminist speech about the one that, we've all seen now. It's going around and around.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, that scene was just like the next level, and it was just it. This is the culmination. This scene was the culmination of the MCU to me. It was like. It's like every single word that was coming out of her mouth was like just the most cringe neo-feminist shit that you could ever hear. And then you had the Hulk just like, just.
Well, you know what this scene reminds me of?
Kevin Feige coming out of the closet?
No, there's a scene just like this in an episode of the first season of Batwoman with the hacker who, in the Batwoman's washroom, tells Batwoman that her parents have kicked her out. She lives alone. All she has is this hacking. That's why she did it, and we never see anything of it to even believe her. And this is the problem. It's like, take everything from what a woman says,
but she
as
lets gospel, her off. Then she lets her go.
To doubt.
She nearly killed a train full of people, and she's like,
she
claimed, because your parents don't like you being gay, off you go.
Yeah, exactly. She nearly killed a train full of people, and she claimed, I would have been able to stop it because I was on the train and I could hack it shut. And it's like, first of all, that's a subway train clearly built 30 years ago. It's analog. It ain't digital. You can't hack anything. I don't know what you did. It's like so many things wrong with that part. But it goes to the thing where this speech would only have an impact if for the first 20 minutes, everything she said, she experienced, and we understood exactly the context of how she experienced it.
Yes.
But because we don't have that, it's her stating conjecture.
I don't think it works, though, because the first bit can work, but she goes so extreme so quick.
Yes.
That's just not believable.
Some of it could work, especially if you showed at the beginning that she's in a male-dominated law industry and you had like male lawyers like saying something to her, whatever.
As a lawyer is stolen and then used by a man in front of her.
Right. Something like that.
But none of that was going to happen. That's the fakest BS.
Yeah.
Period.
And Jane works in law, so she can attest to whatever that may be. But my problem with the last like, you know, the very
literally being
combination.
murdered part.
The murder part. I'm like, who's murdering all these bitches for going out into the street or like going to work?
I
or
gotta
whatever?
confess, every time a woman says something I don't agree with, I murder them.
Oh, okay. It's good
I
to know.
have so many bodies in my bedroom right now.
As
Wow.
the Ripper.
Some are beginning to smell.
The Ripper. Oh my God. There is an incredible amount of people watching right now. We got over 500 people watching. That is so incredible. Thank you guys so very much. I'm going to hit a couple of these super chats so that we can close out the
hit 'em
show and
good.
talk about the ending of the show because that was fucking cringe as fuck. Because I want to talk about the Hulk fight a little bit more. Charles Ratcliffe, thank you so much for the $5. Says, Nina, I just subscribed to you. The only thing Disney is concerned with is not storytelling, but pushing the message. Hey,
The
Jane.
message.
There you go. Thank you for that. Jane, are you there? She's not there. Charles, I'll get her to say hey to you when she comes back.
Oh, hey.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Damn it, Jane. CJ for 5 says, hi, Nina. Will She-Hulk be so terrible to help? What? She-Hulk being so terrible help ROP not look so bad. Wait, what's ROP?
Rings of
Rings of
Power.
Power.
Oh, no.
No.
Yeah.
In fact,
That is
that's
a
the worst
whole-
case about it. You have the competition. Instead of two shows trying to be the best, it's like two shows trying to be the worst.
God, they are.
That is a whole other.
It's the Monty Python world's biggest twit thing we're seeing through $1 million corporations and $1 billion corporations through $1 million shows.
You have never seen.
The past is gone. No,
I've seen my
Galadriel!
fill. You have not seen what
You are
I have seen. Because I'm a woman.
Oh my
and you're
God.
commander of the Northern Armies and leader of Gil-galad. And
Okay, in all seriousness, was that thing that was shown to be like have more boobs than Gladriel? Is that really Sauron? Or
No, it's a woman.
No.
Sauron is Halbrand.
Yeah.
that's what I thought. Wait, it's a woman? That thing is a woman. What
It's
is
a
that?
woman and a
Yeah,
female
there's a group.
actor.
Right. Okay. I'll tell you who they are.
The faithful, no? They're the faithful, I think.
No,
They're
that's
the
not
ones
faithful. That's the
who
cult
are
leader.
searching for Sauron.
Oh, not the faithful.
Okay, but that
They
thing
are
wasn't
searching
a
for
woman.
Sauron, and they believe that Sauron is the wizard that landed.
Gotcha.
So they're going in a completely different way.
That thing wasn't a woman. That's all I have to say about
I
that.
was shocked. I'm like, I thought the entire time it was a guy.
Me too. I thought it was a guy, and I still stand by that. That's not a woman. No.
He's something.
It identifies as a woman, Nina.
Stop it.
They all identify.
Stop it. And
I
unexpected
identify as a woman.
today. Nice tits.
See, women, I didn't get mad. I didn't get mad, ladies. It's comfortable.
Did you see the Wizards of the Coast, that little commercial they put out for their new collection where they race swapped Aragorn? The host comes
Oh
on,
my
and it's the first time I've
God.
noticed this. She walks right out, and for a second she's like, "Hi, my name is," blah, blah, blah," but right underneath her it says she, her, and so each one of them had their pronouns. Like, what the fuck
Oh
is
my
this?
Kill me
God.
now. It's like
Oh.
Sandman. And their fucking goddamn pronouns. And unexpected fire for $4.99
Shit, we
says,
should put our pronouns in our names here.
oh my God.
Fuck.
Oh
Fucking
my
off.
God.
I'm not. We should do that. How's Az smelling tonight? He already let us know. Very good, delicious smells. Heel versus Baby Powder for 10 says they not only took a great character moment for Bruce in struggling with saving his cousin's life, but that could have been a meaty acting moment for Ruffalo too. They gave that actor nothing to do.
They
No,
robbed
it's
both of
because-
those actors of
Big
a
fat
good
paycheck.
performance.
Because Disney, Marvel is run by intersectional feminists. You
Mhm.
are not going to see a man have power.
Kevin
You are not going
Feige?
to see a man, and no, he's no man.
That's
Kevin
why I
Feige
said, is he
takes his
coming?
cap
Is,
off. I am no man.
I am
but
no
he's
man.
still- but that's why I
We
thought,
know
is this his
Kevin.
coming out party with She-Hulk? Because he's has totally done a 180 from phase 1 through 3 and now phase 4. I mean, it's night and day.
Oh my God.
This is the frustrating element. Yeah, we know we're going to get a disaster, but the problem is this message isn't going to change in any show. If anything, they're going to push the boundaries as was seen from this.
Further than this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've got next.
Ironheart.
You do not know. Yeah, Ironheart.
Oh my
God. It can't get worse than
We
this.
have a drag queen and we have a female them
Tony
who
Stark.
likes to grow hair under their armpits and take photographs of themselves and post it on Twitter.
Yeah.
You also have Echo coming out too.
Not shitting you.
I didn't know that. Because I don't pay attention to Ironheart because I was like, this is a joke. They can't be really doing this. But
Dude, I pay attention because my bank balance is like,
no,
we got coming up, dude. And I go, we got a She-Hulk, we got an Ironheart.
Who's the one growing hair under their arms? The one who's playing Ironheart?
No, her whoever that character whoever that biological female who goes by he who's 21 years old and likes to post pictures of their underarm hair on Twitter, whoever they are. And then the drag queen, I don't know, they were probably just going to a school or something and then have dollars shoved down their pants. And, you know.
They think this is actually going to sell. I mean, like, there's somebody who's convinced at Disney, like, yes, we're making money. We're going to make bank on this.
I don't think they care about that, George.
Eventually,
I don't think they care about the money, dude.
I know they don't.
They're the only people that can change it.
But
the shareholders, the only people that can change it.
Will they?
Eventually, yeah. When there's
if the profits don't come in,
right.
I don't know, because if ideology is more important to them than money, then no,
no ideology is ever more important than money.
Yeah, not in the end. Whoever said this, like you had Bezos this week when he was at the premiere for Rings of Recycled Fantasy, and he's sitting here going, money is not why we're doing this. It's the message. So I was like, really?
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. You're in the wrong business, sir.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
If he had turned around and said, yes, I don't give a shit about Tolkien, I want to make a ton of cash, at least you could have some respect for him. He's like, we're not in this for the money. It's not a cash grab.
No, that's what I'm talking about. When the message is more important, that's all that'll matter, and then they won't change anything because they don't care about the money. They're just funding it. They're funneling it in from other ways, so they won't really care about the money.
So does anybody have the answer? Because I've been looking for this. What happened between the end of phase 3 and 4 that changed Marvel? Because it's still the same
James
people.
Gunn was fired. That was one step.
I know, but I'm talking about in management. I mean, Feige is still the same guy.
Oh, Feige was focused more on the Disney Plus side of things, and then he basically deferred certain controlling interests to Victoria Alonso. And she's been there from the beginning, so she was just touting the line for the first 3 phases, but as soon as she got a little bit more, they invented a new position for her, which some people thought was going to be them trying to get rid of her. I'm like, no. You don't invent a new position that other people will have to fill just to fire this one. No, she's going to be there for a while. That's kind of like an acclamation to her eventually taking over the Marvel Studios things if Feige decides to jump ship and go to another thing, which he never will, because he's probably realized over the last year with the lower success markets of the films that he can't try and rebuild this again somewhere else. He's got to stick with it and try and write the course correct. Who knows if he can pull that off, because it wasn't as much as a lot of fanboys and girls throughout the years definitely touted Feige being the savior and the miracle man behind the MCU. There are a lot of other names, a lot of other directors in that first phase that made it what it was, that he just kind of surfed their way.
You're saying he took the credit for it?
Of course, every producer does. That's exactly what they do. Like that's their main job. It's like, it's all I'm the reason they did it. Like Ike Perlmutter was pushed out of the room with regards to the direction of Marvel on film, but he still has a controlling interest in Marvel. But he doesn't get to say much when it comes to the movies. And for the comic book side of things, he just wants to make sure that it's making some money, which is also terrible, because I think he's also been pushed a little bit out of that too. But he hasn't sold any mistake in them.
Didn't Zaslav just hire? Who was it he hired that was formerly with Marvel who worked with Feige? He's bringing him to Warner.
Alan Horn?
Was it Alan Horn?
Yep.
Who was at Warner, then went to Disney, then has gone back to Warner.
Yeah, he was at Warner. He was forced into retirement and went to Disney after the acquisition and the release of some other Marvel films. So he's come in a little bit too late to know how that infrastructure was properly built. But he has experience with regards to how it was organized and how it was successful for phases 2 and 3. So there's definitely some valuable knowledge there.
Well, what's just odd to me, it seems like, and not knowing the Marvel comics like y'all do, but it seems like they're repeating the mistakes. They have this run of success with phase 1 through 3, and now they're repeating everything that didn't work in the comics. You know, the whole.
Yes,
You know,
correct.
but
They're
why
doing
would you-
all
why
new
would
on
you-
Marvel, which failed miserably.
Why would you copy that which bankrupted you? It's like no.
Feminism.
I know, but there's
George,
It's
it's
being
the
run by, it's
I
being
know the
run by
message.
feminists with their not so secret gay agenda, as they have said themselves.
I know,
Yes.
but
Masculinity is
happens.
not allowed. The reason why phase 1 was so successful in phase 2 and phase 3 is because it brought on masculine characters, main characters that people knew and loved, and it
Right.
portrayed them in a fun, interesting, exciting light. Forget the fact that, you know, people like Black Widow were along for that ride as well and was as loved as, you know, any of the other characters. But now masculinity, it's toxic.
Right.
Here's the
Okay,
other part,
George,
too.
it's not allowed around here, okay?
I get
We
that,
gotta
I
have
just-
some toxic women instead, okay? And boys are gonna sit down and know their role, okay? And we
Yeah.
gotta lose all the money because we don't know what the fuck we're doing here, okay? And then when anyone goes, hey, what's going on here? This used to be fun. We go, you go fuck yourself, you racist, bigoted pig. You go fuck yourself, you white fucking racist pig. You fucking bigoted fucking.
Fuck you,
That's
you
where we
sexist
are
piece
now.
of shit.
And
Yeah.
in those first movies, they weren't afraid to explore the vulnerability of the masculinity. Tony Stark is trapped in a cave for months
Right.
and is not able to be the man he was. Captain America starts off as this weak person with a strong will who's got every time he applies to join the army is rejected, and then when he finally gets his powers, he still doesn't feel awkward or comfortable in his own skin, especially when he's around a woman he's attracted to, which is Peggy, who's now, because of his physicality, way more inclined to be with him than before. And then you also have Thor, who is humbled by his father, basically taking away his ability to pick up Mjolnir until he can earn it again. Those things are actually very, very important because we're not getting that sense of vulnerability and failure and risk of achieving a goal and growth, yes, from the female side of the characters at all. It's not there, and it's definitely not coming. And if there is a little bit of it there, it's not a genuine vulnerability. It's really just kind of a superficial moment that's quickly ignored or pushed aside in favor of getting into this is the character it's going to be now. This is the dominating narrative we're going to tell.
It's just always hard for me. I get it logically. It's just if I ran my business this way, I would be broke tomorrow. It's like to shit on my customers. It's just it's a hard thing. I understand it. It's just at some point
They don't work on logic, George.
You think
they
they would wake up and go, "We don't have money." I mean, they're just pulling from their stock, but they're not making the money the way.
Yeah, but look how much Disney own. They own so much that the money that they're losing can be counted from different areas.
Okay.
Yes.
They can do
And that's why
merchandising,
there's
licensing.
not.
And,
Yeah.
Why do you think we
but-
keep saying stop going to the parks? Because one of the biggest money makers for them is one of the biggest draws is the parks, and people keep going. It doesn't even matter. Like they don't care. So people keep going, and they're always getting money from some other place, and then they just keep funding their woke agenda because that's all they care about is getting the kids. And this is one of the things that I often talk about is these messages with regards to, for example, this show. Like, as and Gary and them say that this is geared towards wine moms, but secretly it's not. Secretly, these are all geared towards kids. That's why when I hear things like, let's have an orgy line in like the fucking, Thor Love and Thunder, I'm like, no, these are the things that we have to explain to children. Children are going to be like, what's an orgy? Like, what?
if they ask, that's the other part too.
But that's the thing, right? It's
Hopefully
putting
they
these
ask.
subliminal
They don't even have
messages.
to. They want to, like you just said, subliminal messaging. They want to impart these values into children when they're very young and they don't know any different. If they see it constantly, they may not ask because it becomes normalized.
Exactly. They're trying to normalize it for the kids, and kids won't ask. And this is the case with this show. It's such a terrible example for good women. It's such a terrible example for what it is to become a nice and nice young woman. Even if you're trying to become a career person, you cannot put men down over and over and expect to be just this. We're not just
good.
by
That's 'cause
ourselves.
they're not good. They aren't good women.
They don't care.
They're good people.
They're not good.
They're terrible people. And what they're teaching is that you're going to be rewarded for it. And that's not the society we want to live in.
Exactly, Jane.
I can
You're
tell
gonna
you
be
that-
rewarded for it. That's their message, and that fucking pisses me off.
Ever since I started looking at a lot of the Indian cinema, I can tell you a lot of this is not going to go over there. I know they have a huge
No.
market there with this.
No,
it's not,
it will
it's not for their
never go
culture.
there. It'll never
No.
go to there. It'll never go to places like Russia. It'll never
No.
go to places like China. There's a lot of Middle East. Like, no, they
Correct.
don't see things like this. MJ UK 84. Thank you so much for the $5. Says, do you think we'll start to see actual changes in the media in 2 to 3 years, a time it takes to make products? Well, it's already kind of trickling down, like what happened with Zaslav and him canceling Batgirl and certain
Netflix.
things. Netflix fired a bunch of people. To some extent, yes, but to some extent, no. The more things change, the more stay the same.
I think it depends on who actually gets in charge, because that's his
true.
perspective. I mean, he's very focused on finances and developing those companies financially. That's his main focus, right? So what he's doing makes a whole lot of sense for him because it suits his personality. He's not putting agenda first.
Mhm.
And then with Netflix, my concern with them is Cuties is still there.
Yep.
So yeah, they're firing people for being upset about,
And
the
they
far
canceled a
woke.
bunch of shows too. That
Yep.
were
Yeah, but it's like they're keeping. I almost feel like they're only doing that so they can justify keeping
Oh, I
some of the
see.
more troubling things on there.
Makes
And
sense.
they canceled like their animation department, which was actually doing really well and putting out stuff that people actually liked. So it's really weird with Netflix, but I mean we can only pray that things are gonna change. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how
One
much
part
more
is
of it I can
leadership. The
take.
next part is the leadership getting rid of the support system that's antithetical to the company. It goes back into the older days of Hollywood, where readers and people that would be conveying the type of stuff that's being written up to the higher ups would do it based on merit. Like, yes, this is a really good script, but in the educational sphere, they're told, no, you have to push these types of agendas. So these terrible scripts that push these agendas get up. And now the leadership is being misinformed from the data that they're seeing. Is like, why are all these screenwriters, why am I getting all these scripts about women, strong female women that are putting down men and all that hoopla? Is this what the market wants? And the people on the front lines are saying yes, and it's a lie, because they're just rejecting the stuff that would normally get through and would not have steered the industry in this direction. And so the same thing that has to be done from the top. It's like, you got to pay more attention to the people at the bottom, because they're the ones that they're the ones that are filtering the information that you're getting, because not everybody is going to be seeing the world the way you want to see it, or seeing the future of the business the way you want to see it. And that's why you had people like, when Chapek got involved in Disney, so many people are pushing against him, and then he does that hostage video, and then all those other things type of go around. And Zaslav has just been firing as many people and department heads as he possibly could, because he's trying to figure out who are the people that he can trust and rely on that are going to keep this company alive. And Paramount's been doing it little by little over there, not as fast as the rest of the world would like, but here and there.
Halo.
Yeah, God, yeah.
Oh my God. And then for another 2, thank you so much, says, oh God, She-Hulk and the Phase 4 TV. I don't know. Is it the end of Phase
Stage
4?
4 TV.
I still am trying to get over what Az just
How
said
many
about
stages are
the
there?
underarms, Jesus, and the Dracula.
I'll get you a picture if you want it.
No.
No,
Thank
please.
you.
I don't even
Good
know.
kind, sir. You are my friend. You do not. That,
But
you
is
give
this
to an
the end
enemy.
of is this the end of it, or is Ironheart the end of it? I don't know. Is that Phase 5?
Ironheart is Phase 5.
Okay.
I think
So
Black
This
Panther
is
fans,
the
right?
end of Phase 4 is Black Panther 2.
Okay.
Oh,
Black
that's
Panther.
where we get the Mayan Aztec.
Mayan Namor, yeah.
I've never. That's the worst thing I've seen this. Well, until you just told me about Ironheart. Aztec Namor.
Atlantis was really part of
Yeah.
South
He
America.
wears the same trunks
the
as an
people
adult
were-
as he did when he was a kid.
I'm confused about that though, because the people were blue. They were dressed like Aztec people, but they were physically not.
Namor wasn't.
No,
Namor
Namor was a
was-
mutant, and he's
Right.
got human flesh tones, but the rest of his species are blue.
So did they just mix with the human Aztecs?
I'm blue, la da dee da.
Atlantis?
I'm actually confused
La
about
da
that.
dee
Most of
dee
it.
da.
Like, if
I have
Tony
no
Stark
idea.
were alive and he saw 3 of them, be like, I loved your guys' show in Vegas.
The Blue
Oh,
Man
I've
Group.
seen these guys before. They were
Colt Seaman, thank you so much for the $10. Says in the same week, Better Call Saul ended on a high note, and She-Hulk entered like a limp chopped off dink. Oh my god, that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is what I call the biggest joke and God set upon us mortals. That is, yes, I still have to watch Better Call Saul, but there's a lot of good stuff out there right now, including the movie Bullet Train, which I'm doing a spoiler-free review on tonight. I'll probably upload it by tomorrow, which is a very freaking good movie. Everybody go check it out.
Didn't he
And
wear
Cole
a dress?
who? Brad
What's his-
Pitt? Yeah, it was for like he did it for some stupid
The
promotional
Met Gala
thing.
thing or something like that.
Yeah, it was for it was for the premiere of this movie, Bullet Train. But that was a terrible mistake.
Didn't that
But
stick in your
I
mind
forgave him.
when-
I forgave him because in the movie he was based as fuck. So
Oh,
it was
okay.
really, really good. Like he was not wearing any skirts in the movie. Okay. Like,
okay.
he was great, Brad Pitt. Like
Classic.
I
Yes.
remember,
Classic
in
Brad
the
Pitt.
days when certain companies would prohibit men from wearing shorts in their place of business. They would just wear a long dress to basically mock the absurdity of that to their employers.
Oh my
Because-
gosh.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, you're in a sweaty environment and you're dealing with the public and you cannot wear shorts. You have to wear like nice stylized professional looking shorts. You have to wear like thick black trousers. They're like, well, the women get to wear long skirt dresses, so we'll just do that because it's not a violation. And then the company's like, you're not wearing skirts, we'll let you wear shorts. Thank you very much. That used to be the way it was.
Oh my god.
kind
If
of
you ever
based,
choose
though. That's based.
that is based. But if he ever chooses to wear a skirt again, for the love of God, wear a fucking kilt, because that's the
Kilt.
only
There
way
you go.
it's
That's not
Oh,
a
yeah.
thing. The
acceptable.
kilt
It's
is
fine.
good.
That would have been hot. Yeah.
That
I
would have
wore a
been
kilt.
hot.
Yeah.
That's fine. Oh, also, Colt, thank you for your member message, which was says, yo, what's this garbage on the screen? And hey, George. Well, actually, hey, George.
This is the stream. That's the stream, dude. It's the
No,
stream you're-
that was it was She-Hulk was on the screen at the time. he
Oh,
sent it,
okay.
so it was her. It
I
was her
thought it
face.
was-
And the CGI was horrible. It was nothing like the Marvel movies in this one.
No. Hefflinger? What?
Heffelfinger.
Finger. Thank you. For $10 says, does Hulk's body
Yeah.
look weird?
Yep.
Yes, it does. His
That's what
head's
we
want.
too
That's-
small.
That's what we want.
Oh, that's nice.
Ooh,
That's-
that's nice.
yeah,
Hold
that's
on. Let
the new
me
hot
pull that
toy.
up. Ooh,
Yeah, that's Hot
that's
Toys.
sexy.
That's the
Iron
that's what
Man.
we-
That's a classic Iron Man.
His head's too small for his body and his arms are too short. Anyone else see that? Yes, I definitely noticed the Hulk's quote unquote change. He looks
Maybe he's
weird
transitioning.
fuck.
into
Maybe
a
you know
pussy.
what?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's happening. And also, I hated those scenes where they kept looking into the camera because they thought they were being funny, and I was like, "You're not funny."
Do
Stop
you remember
being
Mark
funny."
Ruffalo was so stoned that during an interview he told the interviewer that everyone dies in Infinity War?
Yes. Oh my god, that was
And Don
hilarious.
Cheadle's just like, dude.
Dude.
I didn't know that. I didn't see
Well, was most.
that.
Oh my god. Look, he's tiny.
Yeah,
He's
he-
tiny. He's a tiny little man now.
He's like 7'5".
Tiny Hulk. Your Barmy, thank
Barmy.
you so much for
Barmy.
the $5, just for $5. Heel versus Baby Powder for 2. Missed my super chat, sweetie. I think I got it. I've gotten every single one. Thank you for that one. And Cesario Japan?
Cesario.
Cesaro Japan. Thank you. For $5, incredible Hulk cartoon from the 90s handled She-Hulk better than the 90s plus for Disney Plus series and gave us the best Iron Man theme song ever. I am Iron Man.
Right.
Dude,
Oh, that's from season
those-
2 of
Can
Iron
can
Man.
I share the Ultimate Hulk with you?
Hell yeah, of course.
This is a statue which is going for sale for
Oh,
Whoa.
$4,500.
I've seen it. The X-Men. XM.
XM Studio. This is Old Man Hulk after he's killed everyone. Everyone. And
Yeah,
this and the throne that he's sat
He's
on
got a
is actually
beard.
the head of a sentinel.
It is. Was actually a private artist
Excuse me.
commissioned 3 years ago. I can't believe XM picked it up. It's beautiful. It should have the heads of everyone. Like,
Yeah, you
There's
can see the
Loki,
thing. You got
Black-
the symbiotes here.
yeah.
You've got Loki. You got Professor X, Black Panther.
Yeah, the
I think
cape.
Thor's is around the corner, but you got Mjolnir there anyway. War Machine, Iron Man,
Holy shit!
Silver Surfer's. He's got the gauntlet, the Infinity Gauntlet.
Is that Juggernaut's helmet?
Juggernaut's head down there.
Fuck, I didn't see that on the.
I didn't see that. So cool.
This is so.
Yeah, this
cool.
is
Did you get this?
No, but I'm seriously thinking about it.
It's the down payment on a car.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's got a deposit.
Look at there. There's the Silver Surfer. There's the Sentinel's head.
Wow.
Silver Surfer's board. Namor's trident. Obviously, Doctor Strange's cloak.
Yeah, this is everybody. He took
That's
out
next level, dude.
He took them all out.
He looks like evil Santa on
Magneto's.
that screen. And he's like, look
There's
at
got
all
to be
my
like an
toys.
Ultron head somewhere in there, right?
Yeah, there should be. In the original, there was.
Oh, there's Dr. Octopus's
Claw. Yeah, Doc Ock's claw.
I think Ultron is next to Magneto, isn't it? On the left.
Yeah, there's Ultron's head there.
Yeah.
Ultron head there.
War Machine.
I like this. The symbiotes in here are great.
Jane had to run because there's another show starting that she had to go watch. Well,
It's
bye,
House
Jane.
of Dragon.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the House of Dragons.
Yeah. It's gonna
Do
be
you know what's
starting in like
great
2
about
minutes.
that? They released the trends today, and House of Dragon is beating Rings of Power in trending. I mean, it's just like by a mile.
No.
I got no interest in it, but that's because of Game of Thrones season 8. But
Yeah.
it looks like a proper fucking show, at least.
It does.
You
It
know,
looks
and Matt
good.
Smith's in it, and I'm sure Matt Smith's going to be great in it. But I just, don't want to go through X amount of series just to watch
And to
everyone
have the
fucking
same
die
thing
again.
happen. Right,
Yeah,
to have it-
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You know,
But I
Game of
also feel
Thrones
like
is-
I know the ending. They're all gonna
Right.
die.
We do, but the thing that I hate about Games of Thrones, I was so invested in that series, and it's the first show that I've never rewatched because of that
Yes.
season 8.
Same here.
Yes.
I have no interest in rewatching it. Which sucks.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm apathetic to it. So, this could be a good show. And I'm not knocking on the show. I haven't said anything denigrating apart from,
Right.
does kind of look a bit down with the picture. Okay.
Well, they race swapped a few people
But-
too.
The race swap thing was whatever. Sounds snake. It's season 8. I'm just apathetic to Game of Thrones.
Me
Okay.
too. Me
But
too.
come
That's
on,
why
now
I'm like,
and then you had Amazon change the release date of Rings. Get this, all their new clips keep having the old release date of September 2nd. But they've told all the magazines it's September 1st. I'm like,
September
so now,
1st,
now your audience isn't going to know when the hell to tune in. I'm like, so your first episode may not be a big hit. I hope not.
So it's Thursday.
It will. He'll do massive numbers. He'll do
Even
massive
changing the
numbers.
date? Even
I
changing
think
the date?
so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that people
Especially if
You'll
people
do-
go on to Prime to shop, they'll get tons of ads. Go watch Rings of Power.
It
So wait,
says
what's the
September
date now?
2nd. It says
The
September
date's the 22nd today.
Yeah,
Well,
it says
I'm in the
September
22nd. You're in the 21st.
Right. It says
No.
September
What?
2nd.
No. What day in September? It's September
That's the
2nd.
premiere? No, that's what it
No,
was.
September
Now-
1st.
Yeah, now it's September
Oh.
1st, but September 2nd was the passing. It was the anniversary of Tolkien's passing.
Tolkien's
and
death. Yeah.
People were
Oh.
furious, like, you're going to put this shit?
Maybe that's why they changed it.
I think so.
Infinity Creations for $20 says, "Hey, off topic, but I've been researching equipment to start a podcast. So can each of you say what type of camera and sound equipment you use?" As you go first.
I'm using a Shure mic. You get one of these, your audio, because you got to get good audio. If you don't have the money, because this is about $300 or so, I would start off with something like a Blue Yeti. It's about $100, maybe less now.
That's what I started with.
A Blue Yeti is a great starting microphone to go with, and you can never go wrong with a C920 webcam, Logitech C920.
hmm I think that's what I have, the Logitech C920. And I started with the Snowball, but this one is the HyperX, and I'm way more happy with it. It's a little bit pricier than the Snowball, but it's way better. So that's my equipment. Script Doctor?
Oh, for $125, I got this analog Uru mic, which was used in a bunch of older voice acting studios. It's the brands that they use before they go through a sound mixer, and then they touch it all up. It's analog. It doesn't go by USB. It has a normal RCA type jack into your stuff, but it does require. I use it cold with whatever web software is available. But if you do get like a good digital sound mixing board, you can make some really great effects and clean up the audio quite well with it. And it's under $150. So
That's
$150
great.
Canadian. So that's
That's good. That's even better.
basically nothing.
Yeah.
and it comes with an arm and everything like the Az has got and a pop filter.
Oh yeah, because I had to buy all mine separately.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
arm
mine
and
was
everything.
Yeah, this is a Rode arm. This is about $60. This Rode arm.
And then Script Doctor's gonna have a camera. George.
No, that's Flash 5 animation right there. That's
My camera is a Canon. A Canon EOS that I had for a while that I really liked, and it does it in 4K, and my mic is a Newman.
There you go. Thank
Sorry,
you so
I'm
much.
not very
A
technical.
Numenorian.
Yes, a Newman. Yeah, no.
Thank you for that super chat. And then, we got this. Did we get this one? Yes, we got this one. Thank you for that. And then Mr. Buttcrack Media with a thumbs up. I believe it was a thumbs up. Thank you for that. $1.99.
They don't ship that statue to the UK.
They don't.
Well,
Yeah,
the shipping and
just
VAT
go
tax
to
might be obscene
Spec
for
Fiction.
$4,500.
Spec Fiction will have it. They'll ship it to you.
No, I'm on Spec Fiction.
He'll ship it to you. Just email Todd.
Oh no, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, or just get one of us to get it for you, and then we can.
Now
ship
I've got to
it you.
stand on a street corner with She-Hulk, sell
And
my
warn
ass to those
yourself.
dudes for some dollar.
You know that's
my
going to be
God.
memed within the next 12 hours.
Yeah,
Oh
probably.
no!
I don't care.
It's going to be beautiful, actually. Absolutely.
Wow.
The question
If
is,
you
what
can't
will
make, if you
Az
can't
be
make fun
wearing?
of yourself, who can you make fun of? You know.
It's that totally. 200 Watt Studios for 2 says, remember Stark begging the female reporter?
Very,
Yeah,
very old term for
yeah.
banging.
And then in
remember.
Iron Man 2,
Oh.
she turns up again and she's thirsty, but he's like,
And she's with Sam Rockwell.
yeah,
Camera.
who was brilliant in Iron Man 2. Can I just say?
Isn't he?
I rewatched.
He's coming back, isn't he? In Armor Wars?
Don't. If anyone's coming back, it's over.
Okay.
You know, they're coming back for degradation and denigration. That's what they're coming back for.
Because I heard he's
yeah.
supposed to be in
Penance.
Armor Wars. That's why I was.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
the-
kind
Oh.
of glad Captain America's dead because they destroyed him anyway. Now they're destroying him beyond the grave because he's a
Right.
virgin and he's a fucking loser.
Well, if episode 1 is Captain America is a virgin, is episode 2 Jen tells of her first dick in her mouth? Is episode 3 Jen talks about her first anal?
Anal.
yeah,
Yeah. Is episode 4 Jen talks about her first bukkake?
gang bang.
Wait a minute. Episode 5. It's got to be the first time Hulk gets pegged.
Oh my god! You guys know this is what's happening.
Hulk
to this
peg. Hulk got smashed.
Oh no! It's no longer Hulk smash. It's Hulk got
Hulk
smashed.
got smashed.
Oh,
what we're
no.
sadly going to be addressed, I think we're going to get a worse take on the joke, is the joke between Lamar from the Orville and that Chilean security officer is going to be repeated poorly probably with She-Hulk because, you know, that's where Lamar just gets his face crushed in and his legs and
Oh
arms
yeah,
broken.
he got like smashed, literally.
Yeah. And then She-Hulk is going to be not as funny or clever.
I wonder how many like dicks she's gonna break.
You're only as clever as your writers.
Oh my god.
That's
So
true.
fucked.
I
Oh
swear,
my
like some of
God.
these writers are like just TikTokers who are 15. That's
She's
what
gonna
I
be
think.
like, no man can take me literally. Like I break every dick. Oh, God.
Oh, you know what you'd end up doing? You know that? Remember that quote from that weird politician in the United States that says, like the women's biology
I'm the president of the United States.
can clamp things up so that things can't go in there. It's like
Oh.
totally
Oh,
pull it in
no.
there and be like, that's only true for She-Hulk.
Go.
Oh no. That's oh god. Wow.
I'm waiting
Uh,
for RuPaul to appear in this show now.
That's Ironheart.
Ironheart, drag
Yeah.
queen in Ironheart.
Yeah. It'll happen. Just wait.
Shea something or other.
I
Shea,
Yeah,
Get that
she
image out
worked
of
with
my
him and
mind.
like
Shea
it-
LaQueef or something. I don't know.
yeah, was one of
Yeah,
the what was one of the fucking I don't know RuPaul people that worked with her.
Yeah,
Uh,
they won
Drag Race, yeah.
RuPaul. They won RuPaul's drag race
show or whatever,
Drag
drag
show,
race,
yeah.
whatever the hell it
God.
is.
I remember
Whatever.
years ago listening to people like, yeah, we got a contestant on RuPaul's Drag Race that helped us get funding for this project. I'm like, then your project is shit.
Yeah, of
They
course.
they keep referring to them now as a she, and I'm like, a drag queen, a she.
That's not how that works.
That's not
It's
how.
not- yeah.
No.
The old drag shows, the old comedy drag shows, the joke was that most of the audience, if they weren't paying attention, had no idea it wasn't really a woman on stage, and they were just telling jokes. They weren't doing dances or strip teases or anything of that nature. They were just being sassy characters. And it's completely gone into the realm of burlesque for some strange reason, which is nuts, I think. Because
Nuts is right. They do. You know, that's...
Well, they definitely have nuts.
Absolutely.
Heel versus baby powder for 2 says birds shouldn't be in business anyway. Really? What? I don't get it.
Well, birds is slang in the UK for women.
Oh, okay. Now I get it. Ouch.
So I don't know. I don't know if that is the.
I think
concept.
Yes, that is what.
It's a more sophisticated way of saying chicks, basically.
Yeah, chicks.
No, chicks with 6.
Lord Kamina,
I want my blood.
for $2. You need to watch Bullet Train, best movie of all year. Yes, I was just saying that was a really, really good movie. I think
RRR is still the best movie, but I gotta watch Bullet Train.
You gotta watch Bullet Train, dude. I mean, it's RRR was really, really good, but it's very Indian. This is not, right? You know what I mean? Like
That's
it's
the point.
not.
I will tell you, I did see a great
It's
action
Western.
Indian movie. An action Indian movie you might like. It's called KGF. It was exciting.
Okay.
After
A lot of
15
initials
minutes,
in
just
these
below
movies,
below the first 15 minutes off, it's too documentary style, and then it takes off.
Oh, okay.
I saw a
Wolfgang-
great show called She-Hulk.
Good Lord. Good Lord.
As a porn, it makes sense, you know, but this like a porn parody or
There's
there's been multiple porn
Come on.
parodies.
really?
I'm sure there have been.
Yeah. And you
This
know
is-
when the first trailer came out, where she carries the dude into the bedroom, somebody immediately posted the porn parody
Oh god!
of her picking the dude up, but while he's being held.
No way!
And it's just like, holy shit, She-Hulk's looking at it, you know?
That's hilarious.
I feel like this is gonna be a porn parody of itself though, because that scene's still coming, and then it's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna be banging like guys left and right because that's what I do as She-Hulk. Like I'm gonna.
Well,
be
we've
just
seen her
like-
go through a roulette of dates.
Exactly.
Because
So-
they're
So
gonna
she's desperate for a dick.
Well, they're gonna they're gonna do
It's
a train
strange,
on her,
yeah.
right?
See-
a bullet train.
Bullet train.
oh no. Oh.
Somebody tells me it's going to feel like going in a tunnel.
There's a lot of cobwebs going on. This is
I
what
got
the
my
show is.
fucking head in here. Keep going.
The problem with this show is the problem with this show though is that the people who wrote it haven't had a dick in a long time, so they're like all
Yeah.
very
Reverse to
sexually frustrated.
Or they're
So-
trying to
They
cut the-
haven't come for a long time.
No,
these
there's-
That is
there's
why,
literally-
after they've just been assaulted, they think the best thing that they can do is clean themselves up, get some makeup, new shoes, and a frilly jacket.
Yeah,
Wow.
but that's
Yeah.
why there's literal cobwebs down there. So it's like no.
See, that's just bad maintenance on their own part too. Like there
Exactly.
shouldn't be cobwebs anywhere.
exactly.
Hold on.
You need
And you
to
forgot
get-
about the
Hold on.
one-
So if I blow them away,
But you forgot about the ones who are trying to lock.
That's
their dick
abuse of
off.
spiders, that's their home.
holy shit, there's. Hold on, I'm just going to go down on She-Hulk. Hello? Is there anybody there?
You gotta
I
have
can
a
see the
moment.
pop from here.
Oh my god. Wolfbane for 5 says, in the words of the Adeptus Ridiculous from Warhammer, he's just a little guy. Hulk is just a little guy with glasses. God,
This feels like a Shia LaBeouf show. Like he should be in this at some point. Like,
yeah, or the you remember
Like
that
an Even
guy?
Steven type of thing?
yeah. It just feels weird. I just can't put my finger on it. And how is CGI bad from Marvel? Isn't that what they're supposed to do? Excel at?
Well, see, the way it's quite baffling because If you were to pitch, ooh,
Oh
My
I-
God, it's lit. It's lit up. It's so
Yeah.
cool.
Does do
And
the
it's
bottom
protected
ones?
in
Mine
plastic.
hasn't come in. Do the bottom ones light up on the legs?
Yes, but I haven't inserted them, ladies.
His junk doesn't light up.
So you didn't insert anything into them?
Too bad.
No, I was too busy climbing out of She-Hulk's vagina.
Oh my God. Okay, back to this show because let's just finish this last little bit.
Sorry, I'm derailing you.
No, you're not. This needs to be derailed a little bit because holy fuck. So yeah, they fight. It's the most ridiculous fight scene I've ever seen because after like he, goes on to try and teach her anything, but she's like keeps rejecting him, and then they fight, and the fight is literally the most ridiculous shit. Like basically, she's just better at him at everything. She's better at him at fighting. She's better at him than the brain stuff. She's better at him, and then she runs over him, and he does get ran over, which is really weird. Because before, I mean, I remember when he would basically destroy like any car that would be even near him. Like he would just go like this, and it'd be like, "Oh, you're
Remember the
smashed
monster in
now."
Avengers? That huge, like serpent creature who just
Yeah.
punches to a
Yeah.
standstill.
Right.
If
Yeah.
anything,
But
you
a-
should just.
But a
it's-
Jeep Cherokee, oh fuck!
Nope.
Jeep
Fuck
Cherokee's
that.
It's got a better engine. I mean, if anything, it should be spinning on its wheels. He's just standing there going, "Really? Come on, you're wasting
Yeah.
gas."
It
Yeah.
would, yeah, that would have been funnier if he just like puts his finger on it and it's just like it's not moving, and she's just like the wheels are spinning out of control. It's just like, dude, you're just wasting your time, I saw a picture that I think it was Anna posted this, and it kind of like I was like, see, this is when the Hulk was actually good. Was this like when remember when Hulk
Yeah,
was
that's
like,
what I just. That's
yeah,
what I've just.
that's the
said,
one.
yeah.
That's the one. And it's just like, now look at this.
His weight alone should cause the top of that Jeep to be into the ground.
Smushed.
Yeah, crushed, right? Like you would
Crushed, yeah.
think.
If not crushed, at least like pivoted on an angle like a seesaw from those two front wheels and the back wheels up in the air. Like,
Right.
very minimum.
And then she goes flying out
Yeah,
and
when
then
she's
dies,
catapulted
breaks
out.
her neck and dies. That'd be so good.
Again, how does the CGI keep
get
being
that.
this bad when it comes from Marvel? That's what I still
Cheap
don't understand.
expenses, tighter deadlines,
No,
management of the
no,
CGI
but isn't
company.
it the same CGI people who work on the movies?
No.
Oh.
What do you mean?
I thought. I mean, I thought they
it's
have all the
outsourced to as many
established.
offices.
People are
that they
quitting
can
the
get.
studios, dude.
Yeah.
No, but I thought they have all that material of the Hulk from all the films. Like,
Yeah, but it has to be reprocessed and recompiled with every new generation of machine, and those machines come between 6 and 18 months apart with new.
because I
power.
figured that the CGI would at least be good if everything else was shit, but it's not. It's horrible.
Well, ILM isn't actually doing this stuff, even though Disney's got a very long-standing contract with them. It's outsourced to all these other smaller
Yeah.
departments, and the heads of those departments are saying, "Yes, we'll make whatever deadline you ask us to because we want the money."
Mm.
And that's why their staff is overworked. That's why Disney's abusing the demands of those types of deals, and that's why we're not getting the content and level of quality that we should be getting from these
You
studios
see,
because they don't care.
Women don't deserve quality.
Hey. No, we
Hey,
don't.
I'm just doing Disney. I'm just going by Disney's own.
I know Disney standards. I'm trying
If
to
they
find
really
some-
cared, they'd have made Jen Walters CGI look way better than the Hulk CGI.
Oh.
They didn't.
I also
Yeah.
agree with Porter Black's point on Friday Night Tights because he talked about how like they make stuff at the time and just gear it towards whatever time it's at.
Mhm.
So in this case, they're in Mexico, which by the way, we don't even know how they got here. They just kind of like end up in Mexico for absolutely no reason. And then she's wearing an I Love Mexico shirt. But this was basically made around the same time as the whole like, Mexico, the border issue time. So they were like, oh, let's put her in an I Love Mexico shirt. And now it's like, that's our political messaging, but everyone's forgotten why that was a thing. Like, and now we know that it was a thing because I just told you it was a thing. There it is. I love Mexico. I love Mexico too. I actually want that shirt, but hey, I can't find that shirt. But dude,
Redbubble.
her fight scenes with him, like it was just it was so cringe because everything she does is like better And I was like, what? What? How is this the Hulk? Like, no, the Hulk smashes you. She broke his glasses.
Right. They could have kept me if they gave her bigger boobs.
Really?
Yeah, probably.
And a shirt ripped off.
Yeah.
Hey,
little nipple.
that was
covers.
actually something else I was wondering about. It's like, why isn't her shirt ripping? Like,
In the
because
same
she's-
degree as the Hulk's. Yeah.
yeah, and she's wearing the same thing
I
though.
was
Like,
waiting
she's
for
wearing the
boobs.
same
I
thing.
She
know.
wears really puffy shirts and blouses.
But she doesn't like it. Both of their clothes are not ripping enough. Like, it makes no sense.
Well, he
I mean,
wears spandex.
And
That's why
his
he
is
telling her.
spandex.
remember.
right.
That's why he told her spandex, your friend. That's
And she didn't listen too. She was like, whatever.
that's why in the
anyways,
courtroom, none of her clothes ripped. I mean, they just tore a little bit on the sides.
I
yeah,
mean,
they
her
just
bra
tore
would
a
have been
little bit.
snapped in half.
She don't need no bra.
Yeah, hippie women don't wear bras. So here's the thing. The only thing that I got out of this, and I will admit, I was like, wow, that's actually kind of a good idea, was this Cheeto eating with chopsticks.
Is
Why?
a joke that's been in a dozen
I've
of
never
independent
done it.
films since 2001.
I'd never heard it before, and I'd never done that. And I was like, that's actually a good idea, Funk. How did I not think about this?
Why?
No.
Don't you like getting Cheeto fingers and then you go?
No, because when you're a girl, it's annoying because, like, I don't want to touch like my
You ruin the
clothes and have
manicure.
Cheetos,
but you
or like
lick your fingers.
manicures.
You lick your fingers.
I know, but
But
like
when
the
you put-
manicure.
Women don't want to lick their fingers because they know where their fingers have been.
Hey,
Oh, boom, boom.
damn it, script doctor. I mean, you could.
He's never let loose. Like, there we go.
That's the savage She-Hulk right there.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Oh my god, that sounds like me in bed.
Pure class.
How
But yeah,
did you-
I've seen the
did you-
Cheetos
wow.
chopsticks thing for a number of independent low-budget films. It's some
I had
sort of
not
weird
seen
hipster
that
running gag.
before.
So it was.
It's in the running gag that I can't remember who it was. I think it's one of the Marvel guys used to do it offset as well. Used to use chopsticks to eat. And there's a photograph. I think it's what's the Jiggy? I think it's
What's he look like?
it's
What
from
movie?
Star Wars. I think
Oh.
it's Poe Dameron.
Oh,
Whoa.
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, I think it's Oscar
Oh.
Isaac. There's a picture of like Oscar Isaac on set eating Cheetos with a chopstick.
Oh, that's just weird.
I'd never heard it before. But anyway, so look at this animation.
See,
Wow.
her jacket's just a little torn. I mean, what is that?
She
That's
was
not
fun.
Hulk where she doesn't have spandex. It should all be ripped off.
That's a polyester.
Yeah, but she
suit.
didn't listen to him. She didn't remember.
Nipples
didn't
should be
listen.
out.
He was
just
I
talking
know. That's
nonsense.
why I'm
Yeah.
saying we needed nudity.
Well, here's the
Nudity
other part.
was
Damn
Well,
it,
okay.
George.
Nudity would be fun, of course, but it's CGI, so it's missing something. But
It's on
aside
Disney
from that-
Plus.
Aside from that,
I would
if
be
thi-
willing to
if
give it a
this
go.
were say a
See, I
feature
knew
film,
it.
if this were a feature film and the next hour and a half was Jennifer Walters' character going through every single situation Hulk laid out and gave her the answers to, and she didn't listen, and she's slowly realizing, holy crap, I've been wrong.
I
Right.
Well,
should have
probably would have a
listened.
great movie or a great series. The thing is, I don't think we're going to get that, because if this is how you present your story, your pilot essentially, and we don't understand the format, we don't understand the long-term goals, we don't understand the antagonists, it
Yeah,
feels
who
like it's
is
probably
the
But
going
he
to be
already
very
said that
shot
when
in the dark.
you become a superhero, trouble seems to find you, and
Right.
lo and behold, what happens? Trouble seems to find her, and
Oh,
you
and that
also-
shoe
but
shot.
he's wrong. Remember?
Did you also
Yeah.
notice how they're prejudiced against curly hair? She went from curly to straight hair. How does that work? Like you?
I
trim-
know. I did notice that, George, because I have curly hair, and I'm like, why is it that
It
she's
got
always?
straightened.
It got straightened.
I've seen you with straight hair.
I know you have. Do you like my curly hair better or straight hair?
Well, you see, that is a trap right
Yes.
there.
That was a trap question. That was a trap question, and I'm glad you avoided
No way
it.
to get out of it.
No.
How did you guys feel about this fight scene? Because that was,
With
Dog
Boogaloo.
shit.
yeah, it was
Eh.
fucking. What
Yeah.
the fuck? Like,
I mean, what is that? Like a Wang Chung pose from Tatiana?
Her kicks missed her as well.
Yeah. Oh, there it
Where
is.
did that thing come from? Like,
No
where
idea.
did this come from?
The editing
Nobody
of
knows.
this entire little sequence was terrible. And when she walks back from her to put on her shoes, the size of her feet and calves do not change in that shot.
Yeah.
No.
They just changed color.
Is
It just changed
that
color, which means like, wait, why does she have to take off her shoes? Her feet should be bigger.
Oh my god.
And I'm not a
I like that
guy,
a
I'm
friend was there to be fucking useless.
Her foot is CG. I just realized that. Oh my god. The show is so bad.
Who's that girl?
Also, I don't know many. Why wasn't she wearing like leggings or pantyhose with her?
Mhm. Yeah, there were no pantyhose.
Good question, because I was wondering that too. Like, who wears no pantyhose?
Because
Me.
just for the shoes aspect, because she gets
For the
blisters. on
shoes.
those.
Yeah, you get blisters.
And she's a lawyer. Not going to go into a courtroom.
She gets
you know,
sweaty feet.
commando.
Her feet would get
Right, but is she going to go into the courtroom all commando?
I hope
Her,
maybe the
yes,
maybe the
'cause she's a
foot
slut.
people are into that shit. I don't know.
But she's also a slut.
Also a
So-
slut.
Also, aren't wedges more comfortable than
Who's
heels?
that slut?
She's a lawyer, supposed
Na,
to
na,
be.
na, 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 na.
Can I just also say that it's seriously the cringiest music for this? Like, it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
why are
Really?
you playing this? Is fucking so cringe. Like, why?
I'm ready
are
to
you
do my
playing-
finish now.
Oh my god! And then her fucking curly hair is like a giant mess. Because oh my god,
Because it's
Wait.
funny. Funny.
it's so funny. Oh my god! And then we break into this long ass fucking whatever ending, and then there's the post credit scene when they're getting drunk and talking more shit about Captain America. 'Cause he's a virgin.
No,
and-
she says Captain America F.
oh yeah,
Because he-
Fox.
What?
As in fucked.
I didn't hear
Fox.
the end. I turned. Okay, because I turned it off.
Captain America Fox.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
what she
I will
is.
say this about Tatiana, though. She's got more muscle mass than fucking Brie Larson has.
She's got more muscle mass than that fucking bitch that played Thor, Natalie Portman.
Oh God, yeah, Natalie Thorpe.
Like
Yeah,
her-
but Natalie had
biceps.
fake arms. So
She's got more biceps than Natalie. And that's it. That was the first episode of
But she has
She-Hulk.
no boobs, so it kind of cancels it out.
no one has.
Up-
No one's got boobs in the MCU.
Az, are you gonna keep like reviewing these with Jane? Like, are you
Yeah.
watching this whole series?
God damn, yeah, we've just gone over 100,000 views on our first episode.
Damn. Okay, yeah, keep going with that. What about you guys? Are you gonna keep watching it, George? Script?
Probably
No,
passively.
I can't. I
Smash or
can't.
pass?
Definitely not Smash. I might watch once in a while just to make fun of it if I don't have something good about rings to talk about, but otherwise, no. Just I
I
couldn't
have,
take it.
I have laundry scheduled for Friday, so I might as well throw something on while I'm doing that.
I mean, I
Again,
will
if that
funny.
second episode it ends up being like of the format of what the show is, and it's good, and there's a bit more of a understanding and conveyance of good storytelling and character, you got something. But that's a lot of ifs.
Right.
Um,
I've seen Trauma productions which were better than this. And
I'll
those
tell you
barely had
something.
budgets.
Romeo and Juliet was way better.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell this is gonna get better script. I'll tell you that right now. Just because
No,
of the,
I don't
the
know.
commercials.
I remember a time when Gina Carano's first episode of The Mandalorian, a lot of people weren't happy with her because she quote unquote beat him in a fight, and yet here we are. She's
I defended her
Me too.
because I had been a Gina Carano fan long before any of these fucking new boy simps came along. And so I knew her through her MMA. So I
only knew her through American Gladiator.
I knew she was fucking legit.
Oh. But did
I
you
only
see
knew her
she's
through
going to be
American
in?
Gladiator.
She's in a new movie that Breitbart is doing. Breitbart News announced it
I
Friday.
know she was in a Hunter Biden movie that I still haven't
Yeah.
seen.
Oh,
but-
That's from Breitbart. Yeah, that's from Breitbart. I was
Okay.
wondering because when I saw it, I'm
That
like,
was
did she
very
play
weird.
the hooker? Because I want to see that thing.
Yeah, I don't know who
That's good.
she's playing. I just know Hunter Biden.
Because I know she's not the Parmesan crispy smoke. So I figured.
Oh,
you know,
God. I do what I want for $5. Says She-Hulk's no square is the
The
minds of
minds of
Moria. Oh
Moria.
my god.
the
And
minds
just as
of
fucking
Moria.
destroyed.
Yeah,
Oh god.
they just got a little Balrog in there. Yeah.
Yeah, she's got a Balrog up in there, yo.
Oh no.
And it
That's
fucking
not-
wrecked it.
Her coochie's cancerous. You know.
Oh, don't go near it. That's no good.
No, it probably
You
straightens
shall
out.
not pass. But in her case, everybody's passing.
In her
Everyone's
case,
passing,
no one
yeah.
could pass because they just can't get through.
Remember, you can buy this bitch for a fucking takeaway fries.
God, that's pathetic.
That's so
Do you want to
bad.
split some fries? To go? Oh, you're that fucking easy? Hold the fries. Hold the fries, dude. Fuck. No need. Don't even need to spend money on that, dude.
What's worse
She's
is that
BTF.
it's French fries and not a potato skin. Like, that's what makes it worse.
Oh, MJ,
You're not going to
88.
get me in bed for anything less than sweet potato fries. I'm telling you that.
Yeah, the most expensive ones.
Early sweet
That's
potato
some
fries are
nice
more expensive.
shit going on there.
Ladies, at least get him to buy you a lobster dinner. That's all I have to say.
No, she's going to
Crab's more
stink of
expensive these
fish.
days, actually.
You don't eat it the other way, dude. Oh my, never mind.
Yeah, but there's... Oh.
Yeah, who
No,
told you?
say it. No,
Nina was going to say there are things that you can do with your mouth.
Yeah.
God damn it, Az, you have to, ladies, afterwards, brush your teeth and have a mint. There you go. For $2. The Effeminator 2000, the Hulk.
You're not getting any butter with that fucking lobster, all right? That's you fucking. If you want butter with that lobster, we got to negotiate the contract.
I like how there's a contract involved too, because yes,
Oh, it's
definitely,
2022.
guys.
You got to nowadays. You got
You gotta
to.
have full
Yeah,
consent.
I
that
got fucking
contract.
witnesses watching me, for fuck's sake.
You gotta have witnesses
With
today.
2 signatures on an affidavit and shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you need a witness.
You
Like,
gotta
it's like
agree
the-
to everything. There's kissing, blowjobs, touching. Up, we're not doing that, because otherwise it's gonna be like I didn't
The
authorize
contract,
you.
yeah, the contract
Yeah.
said, okay, suing you for graping me now.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the Hulk wears Cape and Beta. Oh my god, the Hulk is he's like Thor now. He's a joke. And then again for another 2, compare She-Hulk fight to Rebels Obi-Wan versus Maul. I can't because I haven't seen it, but you guys can.
She-Hulk fight to Rebels. Obi-Wan.
Like the
One
She-Hulk
hit
and
wonder?
I don't understand the She-Hulk fight to Rebels. Obi-Wan and Maul.
no,
Rebels
say
Obi-Wan.
comparing the She-Hulk fight, like the one she had with Mark Ruffalo in this,
Oh, it's
to
tough.
Rebels Obi-Wan versus Maul. I haven't
No,
seen
no,
Star
Rebels.
No,
Wars.
I think
Obi-Wan.
I think they're comparing Titiana fight versus, because the Obi-Wan fight is over in seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's one that's over in seconds that's dog shit
Oh, okay.
versus one that's over in seconds, which is great.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
So Titiana versus Boobiana and Obi-Wan versus Maul.
Titiana versus Cuntiana versus
whatever her name was. All I saw, I mean, you saw her break through the wall. I'm like, who the fuck is this hero?
I tell you what, though, in real life, she's got a fucking incredible
She's got
rack.
a great rack. She's got a
Great rack.
Which
Thank
one?
Did you
Not-
see the Good
not
Place
Tatiana.
has?
Titiana.
Gotcha.
Wait, we're talking about the villain chick, right?
Yes,
Right.
the villain,
Yeah. She great
There's
rack.
Titiana
Is
versus
she actually-
Tatiana.
But is she actually a character from the comics? 'Cause I have no
Yeah.
idea. Okay. And her
It's-
thing is
we-
It was
We don't know
it was
that, though.
Titiana, another one, and Molecule Man. The 3 of them were working together at some point.
aha, I know what now. Okay, so Molecule Man. Okay.
Yeah, Molecule Man's currently stuck inside the She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
Well, he's
That's
the guy who can
gross.
manipulate all sorts of molecules, so he can get into any place he needs to.
Yeah.
Who's that girl? Na, 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 na.
Everybody, thank you so much for being here. That's it for the super chats. Thank you, Az, especially for stopping by. And I know it's late for you, so thank you for coming and hanging out with us tonight.
Pleasure. Thank you for
Tell,
having me.
tell everyone where they can find you. I know you have a small channel that no one knows.
You can
about.
find me on X Hamster. I'll be in the Busty Asians section.
I really appreciate you coming by, man. Script Doctor, tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me mostly on Twitter. You can check out my YouTube channel, where yesterday me and Keith Moncrief from Pop Culture Minefield sat down and we talked about the first 42 issues of Icon from Milestone Comics, writer Dwayne McDuffie. So check that out if you haven't ever heard of the character and curious about its background and whatnot.
Excellent. And then George Molo. Thank you, George, for being here.
It's always great to be here, Dina. Always wonderful to be here with all of you. And you can find me on YouTube at Georgia Giant Slayer. Same on Instagram, Twitter. I'm going to have at least 3 videos out this week. I'm moving from 2 videos a week to 3. So probably one out Wednesday or Thursday.
Excellent. And then as for me, you can find me on Talks FM tomorrow on Monday night. And of course, Real BBC on Tuesdays with As Gary and Mahler. And I think it's on Gary's channel this week. And we'll probably be back next Sunday to review episode 2 of She-Hulk, because until Lord of the Rings starts, or what, not Lord of the Rings, sorry, Rings of Power, I should correct that.
Yes, not Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it's not Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Until that starts, because we're going to be reviewing that every week, but until that starts, we'll just do this one, because why the fuck not? I started it now, so it's whatever.
I'll finish.
And Bake Stuff Mondays. I'm doing that every Monday now.
Yes, on Adam Krigler's channel. So everybody check that out. Adam's amazing.
A lot of fun.
He's awesome. Everybody, thank you for being here tonight. And thank you for the super chats. If you became a member, thank you for becoming a member and all that good stuff. Thank you for hanging out with us. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
To start with about shipping, because I know a lot of fans were actually pretty invested in the idea of Natasha with actually either or both of you guys, and now obviously she's with Bruce.
Is that a dude? Not her. Hey, the other.
I was going to say something along that line. Pretty hard.